Live.
Oh.
Alright. I'm just going to get back in the screen because I'm also cameraman and other things. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2. Well, actually we just started episode 2, but welcome back to Natural One's playthrough of a campaign that I have created. We're just a bunch of nerdy guys. We play games. You know us. But also, we mostly don't play games, so you probably don't know us for that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us back. We're going to get started right from where we left off. So if you remember, at the very end of the last one, we've been to the arena 2 times, and it has been just peachy. I mean, it's been pretty crazy, but this time around we were on boats, and it was insane, and there was lots and lots of... Oh, okay, we just had to check if the audio was working, and it is! Lovely. I stubbed my toe, and I'm in a lot of pain. Oh. You ever stub your toe and like stub it twice just for good measure? Ow, ow! I just stubbed it earlier today on the oh, it's bad. Anyway, all right. Thank you for joining us. We're just gonna get started. So, water is now subsiding. The arena is now emptying, and it was kind of a makeshift setup where you had this intense sea battle. You just barely, Badger just went up and snapped the neck of that drow and tossed him into the water as you instructed, by the way. And that is what happened. You guys defeated them against, they had slightly better armor than you. They had the same amount, but they also had some serious arcane archer on the other end where there was a drow. He was shooting some serious arrows at you guys, seeking bolts basically, and he just about took you guys out. You guys were pretty low.
Almost killed me.
Yeah,
I almost died.
Yeah, you actually did okay, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I took one hit from the arcane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we need to heal Badger. He's gonna die.
He's bleeding,
I
but
should barely realize that.
he's a tough guy. All right. So anyway, let's get into it. So all right. So the water's calming down, and as you hear the crashing of the waves and everything still kind of dissipating a bit. You start hearing what you still think is crashing waves, but it's actually thunderous applause. People are just screaming. You were the general. You were supposed to get killed. This was a tragedy. They like to tell history in the arenas. You were killed, but you were not killed. In fact, you guys took them out, and it was intense. Jumping off of boats onto other people's boats. It was intense. You guys did an awesome job. What you're hearing now is chanting. You hear Makwana, Makwana, Makwana over and over, which is actually Egyptian, and it means twins. So people recognize you two. I mean, the other guys, they definitely are proud of, but you guys specifically have been like the key factors of turning the tide of these battles that should have been bad. You helped push those soldiers forward when they were terrified and like, okay, these guys are heavily armored mostly, and then we're just a bunch of guys with like leather rags. Like it was like nothing. And you just keep hearing your Makwana over and over and over. So it's pretty intense, but the water is now dissipated, and you've landed on the like sandy bottom of the arena, and you just see people above you. People are now like the whole storm atmosphere that they had created for you mages. They've dropped that spell, and so now you're seeing all these people just cheer and just like wave banners and go crazy. And most of them, if you remember, they were nobles. So these people really enjoyed that you guys just slaughtered the enemies, the assassin. It was actually a specific assassin that's actually still alive in the world today that did that, and it was kind of like one of these to him, if you remember. That's basically disrespecting their ancestors.
I better have a rash.
Yeah. Anyway, so now you see guards coming out to take who's left, which isn't many. If you remember, most of your guys were killed. Some of them survived. Badru is being lifted out. People are actually like kind of carrying him on like a makeshift stretcher type thing, and because he's bloodied and he is not doing well. He's currently under a bleeding effect, so he's not doing great. But they're gonna go take care of him, they say. So, all right. What are you guys thinking at this moment as you see all this? I mean, you've defeated 2 losses that you were supposed to take. I mean, you can talk amongst yourself. Odeon is actually not injured himself. If you remember, he was all over the place. He jumped off the boat when it crashed. He rolled that 20, and he went over there and just started taking people out. you saw him like in this fury that you'd never seen before, but like it's pretty intense. Like you guys have done. I mean, I planned for you guys to get injured or die. I mean, I'm not going to just kill your characters at the beginning. I'm not saying it won't happen, because it can. But at this point, gloves are off, so what you guys decide to do, it can have some serious effects. So
here's the first thing I want to do. Is Badger gone? Is he already gone?
He's not gone. You were all walking out of the arena, so it's gone down, and anyone that's alive, you see the bodies of some of the people that landed in the water afterwards now just stretched out on the ground. Most of the blood's out of them at this point. They're just bodies. So people are collecting the bodies and kind of dragging them out this one gate. The crowd still above is still chanting. Some of them is still, kind of singing, chanting your name with Dave W.
My insides are telling me weird things. And I don't feel comfortable with them just taking Badger away.
Okay.
Because we have the capabilities of healing. I had to heal myself because I was in serious trouble, but you are still good. Odeon's fine. So I want to call out to the people that are carrying him away. I want to say, hey, he's part of our team. We took him in. He is ours. And we will heal him. We will see to his wounds. We take care of our own.
Make a persuasion.
I will do it. Roll it so hard. Punch! I got a 12 plus 12.
Okay.
12.
Alright, so I'm going to make all my rolls down here so you guys aren't having to see everything I'm doing. Alright, he beat you with an 18.
Donkus.
So the man, the captain, I guess you'd call him, he's you can tell he's a slaver. You've actually seen him before. He hangs around the area, and he immediately comes over to you and just slams you with his spear. Not hurts you, just slams you back, almost to the ground. You've been in a fight, so you're not quite prepared for this. You're like, oh, stop. He hits you, and this guy has whipped you many occasions. Like, this is one of the guys that just constantly is telling you to keep in line and stop, looking around, stop. These guys are not nice to you. You can't just ask them favors. So when you kind of command him to, hey, we'll take care of him, you don't do that, he's just like, he shouts something in primordial, which is what they're speaking, and he comes up and he just smacks you and then just keeps walking and kind of pushes you forward, and the other guards kind of moving you. Yeah, I wouldn't, but is that what you do? I mean, 'cause
no.
I'm not going to stop you if that's what you're going to do. Okay, so you're led out, and you begin to change out of your wet rags and your leather armor, because you had the nicest. As you start changing, you hear some guards coming down like this long stone hallway where you prepared. If you remember when you guys were going in, you had all this fruit laid out. It was very nice and ornate, and one of the fancier setups that you have. And you hear guards coming, and I mean, there's already a guard in there, but you hear some more guards coming, and you see, of course, at the front, Ammonius. He congratulates you. He comes forward and says, you can see him just kind of, first time you ever seen him kind of excited. He looks at you and says, I have tremendously good news. You have done incredibly and better than I hoped. I kind of planned for you to die, and you didn't. Had some surprises in there, and you didn't get killed. So what does this mean? What does this mean? And he just looks at you and says, how come you're not dead?
Are you asking me why I'm not dead?
and you see one of the guards kind of move forward, like kind of like flex his muscles, like getting ready, like he's not like, no, I mean, he like has a spear and he just kind of grips it tighter.
Like I'm genuinely asking, like, is this or?
That's what he asked you, yeah.
Okay.
Are you asking him directly?
Not.
He's asking him directly.
Oh, okay.
I'm not dead because I'm better than anything you can throw at me.
He's like, you see him, he's just like, interesting. You can fly. We shall have to clip those wings of yours.
Do you see him now?
No, but it's curious. He says, either way, we are very proud of you, and you impressed someone. You impressed someone greatly. Badru, he's going to be up in a minute, but Odeon, was your name Odeon? And he looks at Odeon, and Odeon just doesn't answer, and he looks down. And one of the guards says, answer him! And he smacks him, and he says, yes, my name's Odeon. And he says, you three are invited. but you can't wear what you're wearing now. You can't bring anything with you. We'll clean you up and send you on your way, but tonight we're going to something called the Winner's Feast, which is unlike anything because you haven't won any titles, you haven't won any ground, and of course you are slaves, so you must be shackled, but you are welcome to come. If you speak out of turn without being asked, again, if I have to tell you, you will lose your tongue. But overall, we can have tongueless fighters, so feel free to do what you want, but come with me. We're on our way right now, and there's no time to wait.
Okay. Do we change now, or?
So he immediately, like, you start asking that, and he's just like, come on. And then so he starts leading you, and he seems very energetic, because he's normally not. He's very stern, he's very poised, but he seems genuinely excited.
I want to determine if he is, like, lying or deceiving us.
Insight check.
That would be a 12.
With that, you see he is unusual. Like, you're already thrown off by the situation.
Right.
It doesn't seem dangerous. It just seems peculiar, the way he's acting.
If they were to just, like, kill us because of how much the crowd loves us too, that'd be weird.
Oh.
They'd be like, you dinguses!
They did it in Gladiator.
Oh,
What's Gladiator? Odeon asks.
That's a movie. Did you see that one? Gosh!
Odin's like, I haven't seen that play. I've only lived it.
They put it on the radio. You gotta imagine it back in the day.
So Odeon, as you're walking down the hallway, he turns to you, and he hasn't spoken to you. Remember, he keeps to himself almost exclusively.
Yeah.
Like, you've known him for the entire year and a half almost that you've been here. And this moment, he kind of comes up to your side as the shackles are kind of put on you, and he speaks to you in Celestial.
Odeon does?
Yeah, which you didn't know he knew. Which you've been talking to each other the whole time in Celestial.
Yeah, right.
And he turns to you and he says to you, really quietly, like almost inaudible, but he says to you, he says, "We're in for a treat." And that's all he manages to get before the guards push him and say, "Keep going." And so you start leading down the hallway, but you just learned something about Odeon that you didn't know before. Okay, so as you head down the hallway, you start heading up, and you exit, and it is just it's getting pretty dark out. Like, you didn't realize how dark it was getting, but you guys were in there for probably an hour, not long for a fight, but you guys were in there for about an hour. It's much darker than you think it would be, but you actually look up at the sun and you see it's kind of got like a eclipse going on. If you kind of get up there, so it's darker than it should be. But you're headed down the streets, and people are kind of remarking at you, like people that have already left the arena already, and they getting to their chariots before anyone else, before traffic jam, as concerts go. I mean, gladiator arenas go. Anyway, you start seeing these people, and they kind of look at you guys. Twins. And everyone's just kind of looking at you. Odeon kind of wants to. You can see him kind of like look up, but then he changes his mind. He's not even going to look at these people. Badger's nowhere to be seen, but you hear one of the guards talking, and it seems like it's for you to hear. It's almost over the top, like why would they be talking this loud? You know how people do, when they're like wanting you to hear something. They're like, so. Do you think they'll have to remove his hand? And someone said, "Oh, he didn't get injured in his hand." It's like, "Oh, I don't care. Do you think they're gonna remove his hand?" And he's like, "I'll bet you 5 silver they don't." He's like, "I bet you 10 gold they do." And they're just kind of talking and kind of / mocking you, just like, "Oh, they're gonna mess with your bud," type thing. But it's more of a jest type thing. You don't feel it's sincere. But these guards are specifically bad words, they're just all the things, You get to the foot of the temple that you've been to the right of the entire time, the right and back. You've been building it, but this is the ornate part, stone cobbled streets. You're getting closer to the front, and you see the paved, not paved. It's a marbled, like perfectly smoothed out temple, and it's the steps going up. You see, ornate palms and different. Exotic flowers adorning the sides of it, and they've got these draperies, and you see You've never been up the stairs. You've never been permitted to really look at the front of the temple. You've only been building the sides, but not you, but the slaves. You've been kind of led around the back, and there's this area where they have you create things like your leatherworking and your
stick figures.
No, you're not a painter anymore. They fired you from that job. No, remember you're doing the blacksmithing. Yeah. So not greatly, but you're doing it well enough that they're keeping you in that position. You've met a few people there. Odeon actually works there himself, but he does more of the curing of the metal. Like he adds like certain like chemicals that they specifically ask them to do to make them like really like strong and really sturdy weapons. But yeah, it's gonna be a good thing in the future for you to have skills like that, but you'll need more time. Anyway, so as you start walking up the steps, you just smell like the incense start like kind of like rolling down the steps. It's just this like really perfumey smell, but it's kind of like this like spicy smell. And you're not used to good scents. You're used to the smell of slaves who are all dying or stinking in their cells. So this is like a welcome breeze compared to anything else that you've been dealing with. Nice. It's almost reminiscent of the Temple of Zos that you are in, but it's much more. The architecture is highly ornate. It's aligned with these like large serpents, and the actual like temple draperies are like a golden serpent. You know, like it's really beautiful. You've never seen anything like it, but it's far too ornate to be anything holy, in your opinion, because you're very simple. We do our job. We get things done, and we don't need to have all this. We build for the god, but the god doesn't need all this extra slave labor.
Things.
Right. Anyway, so you approach, and as you get closer, you actually hear music coming from the temple. And it's a roundish temple. I don't know if I've ever said that. It's kind of like a pyramid-esque, but it's kind of round in the center.
Okay. It's a cone.
Yeah, kind of. It does go up, but like in steps like this. But as you go up the steps inside, you see it actually goes out like this. Okay. There's much deeper and much higher. It's just this area is very circular. As you enter, you do see tables laid out, which is unusual for you to see in a temple. Kind of almost sacrilegious, even though you don't believe in this god or whatever temple this is for. You've never even heard them speak of this god because you don't get to be around people much. You see the people all out just drinking and having a good time, all lavishly, ornate with their their chains and their bracelets, and it's very Egyptian-esque or even Mayan. Like it's very cool. Like they're very like there's jade. There's like very interesting people from all walks of life here. Different races, not much, but a few different races. As you walk in, though, you're led in there, and as you get in there, there's a few slaves already there. Like, not slaves, but gladiators there. Some of them actually have their weapons on them. You can tell that they're probably not slaves. Just more of the celebrated gladiators that are more professional than the forced, which you are. All right. So let's see. All right. So you see the pillars actually have like a serpent leading up it. It's definitely to a serpent. It is not even like who's this god? Like no, you know who it is.
Snakes everywhere.
All right. So they actually unlock your chains. They put robes on you. After they're like cleaning you, they're like sponge cleaning you at the entrance. Like you can't step in this place looking the way you are. Just like we have holes. Like clerics come up and just start like putting their hands and just like you see this like energy come off and you just feel just like oh thank you. Just like this intense like it's like kind of like this like an icy hot feeling of the like the brand. It's like a menthol, but it's like much more intense. And then gone.
They have magical menthol.
Yeah, magical menthol. And after you've had this put on you, and you feel so much better. And they put these like silky robes on you, and they do they do this though. As you're walking in, you see someone with a hot iron in the fire, and as you walk up, they come up to you and they grab your robe and then go, and you now have a circular mark with a line right through it. Now on your chest, and they come and do it to you.
Okay.
And so they come up, and you let them, and they
I'm gonna
do the
let
same
them.
part on the left, on your left breast, right here. And as you just take this,
What
you're like,
they don't know is that I can heal myself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too.
you guys are like,
I'm gonna wait till I know what it means, but
So-
I've got that in the back of my head.
so you don't fight it,
Good
which
thinking.
is smart. Odeon actually, they come up to do it to him, and he just goes. It's like, I've got one.
Oh.
And
He's been here before.
oh yeah. So as they mark you, they say, speak again, only when spoken to. Feel free to eat, enjoy yourselves quietly. And they clap, and then they let you go. Do as you will. I don't want to make it all
Right.
railroad you guys into doing things, but
Right.
you are slaves, and I have to put you places.
I want to.
We can't even talk to each other.
Oh, you can talk to each other.
Okay.
You're just not.
Quietly, right.
You're not able to talk
Can't
or be boisterous.
Can't
or
speak to our betters.
Yeah, unless
They're the
spoken.
elite.
Yeah.
They get to go to the moon and we don't.
I'm gonna go find some food.
Me too.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
By the
then-
way, by the way,
I'm
you see this food laid out, and you just see the strangest but best smelling food you've ever smelled in your life. You've been eating bread and just stuff.
Living on bread.
Really, like
And whatever rats
like-
crawl through our cages.
like cucumbers and just like random things are like, just throw that in there. You know, just like nothing at
treating
all.
us like cats.
So you see this, and you're just looking at this, and you're just. Odeon just says, "Oh, my favorite."
Oh.
And he walks up immediately, and you see him kind of, you see him like do this like weird like bow type thing to the table, and then he grabs this like chitinous like thing. It's like a bug type thing, and you see him just like put his hand right here, and just like you hear this crack, and he pulls out this like weird steaming thing, and it's not a bug. It's definitely like a hard meat, but it's you've never seen.
armadillo?
Yeah, kind of. You're not sure what
Or
this is. It
pangolin?
just you've never seen anything like it. But
Crab?
he just takes it, and he just starts eating it with his hands, and he kind of like steps back to a pillar and puts his back to the wall. That's what he's doing.
Oh man. I want to get what. I roll. I reach for it, miss.
I'm gonna reach for meat.
You can roll perception.
Yeah, okay, I'll roll perception.
You failed.
Out there.
A mini game. Can you eat the meat?
I got
Failure.
Oh man! You roll one.
You stab yourself with the
meat
food.
is in my chest. So I got a 19 on perception.
All right. You see various wines and liquors in these very like strange shaped bottles, and you see this you see greenery, like different like vegetables, but still strange, prepared interestingly. But you also see typical like turkey and like ham, and you see like a whole pig. It's just brought from the spit type thing.
Are there like utensils?
No,
Oh.
no, everyone eats with their hands.
Okay. Are there plates?
No.
Or do you just?
You just grab and eat.
Okay, I'm gonna grab some greens and grab some meat. And
You just like fill your arms.
I eat a good diet when because
And
I'm
how
used to
big
eating
how
a good
big are
diet.
you guys? Like muscular, like wise? Are you like the same size you are now, or?
Well, I'm a monk, so I want to be very physically
Right.
fit.
I mean, just tell me a little bit
Whoa.
about your aspects because they don't know, and
So,
I know.
I'm 6 foot, 180 pounds.
So you're pretty
so-
lean, but
Pretty lean.
muscular and lean. Okay.
Pretty. I mean, yeah, tallish. 6 foot. That's
And
tall.
pretty.
We're good looking. We're good looking.
Well, you would have to be. You're basically like
Yeah,
we're
we're
a
like
joke.
gods.
You've got like
Yeah.
a demigod, like it's way down there, but you've got some kind of godly blood.
White
In
flowing hair.
you. You do. He has
Yeah.
black flowing hair.
I'm just gonna be me.
Okay,
5'7",
that's fine.
work out every day of my life,
All right.
and eat
Makes
very
sense.
healthy. and
So
do my
you're in
best.
the cage. You're like, ooh.
Yeah! I'm a monk. I gotta keep up on my jazz.
Well, doing smithing probably
And
helps
just-
a lot.
I gotta switch arms though.
That's probably why you're good at it.
I'd probably be lighter than 180 pounds after 2 years as a slave. But
You can mark that down.
yeah,
You can mark it
I mean,
down.
that would make sense.
It's your
Yeah.
characters. You do what
Be
you feel
thinner.
like works.
Just
You
because.
got the tall jeans.
Yeah.
You tower me. Hey, brother.
I'm gonna.
You're roughly the same size.
I'm going to imitate.
I think you actually are the same size.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Stats.
Oh, we're both 6 foot. Okay.
Yeah.
That works
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
what I was going.
That's
off.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, and you're both 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I was 32.
Oh, you,
I'm just kidding.
You
I'm just kidding.
you would be 31 now.
How are we twins? Right. That's what I'm saying.
I'm a 2-year-old twin.
My twin's 2 years older than me.
All right, so you start eating some food, and what were you doing?
I'm gonna imitate what Odeon was doing, the same sort of gestures.
Okay.
And I'm
So you
actually
go
gonna,
over
I'm
and
actually gonna
cross your
grab the same
arms and
food
bow.
as him
Okay.
too. And I want to actually survey the room. I want to see if I can find any sort of like religious texts or anything like that.
Ah.
Since
Wait,
we are
sorry,
in like their temple,
I
want to see if there's anything.
You
like
don't
that.
know anything about this culture.
Right.
You know nothing about it.
Right.
You guys have yet to do anything other than the arena.
Right.
Which is fine because that's where you are. This is your chance to get to know who are your captors.
Right.
Smart. Okay,
So
roll...
I mean, whether it's inscriptions on the walls or books or whatever, I just want to find anything.
Okay, so roll perception to see what you can see right now.
That would be 20.
Nice. Okay. So as you survey the room, you do... It's almost like your senses kind of highlight different interesting people. You kind of just like... You just notice as a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
As by the way, they're hunters of Azrael. Basically, they go out and they look for demons and bad guys, vampires, stuff like that. They're not particularly hunters, but they're sent in areas to find portals. Like he's a... what were you called again exactly? Horizon Walker.
Yeah.
And so they're with their skills, they've sent them out on missions to do certain things. So he's been in the sense that he's been looking for things for a long time. He's very good at this. So he starts scanning the room, and he actually feels kind of like a portal nearby. Maybe not in this room,
Okay.
but somewhere nearby there's some kind of magical way out of here. Not necessarily a good place, but you don't know that. You just...
So I sense like
it's
a
part
plane-
of your...
like a
It's
plane
part of
portal.
your... Yeah.
Yeah, one of my abilities is to find a portal if it's
So
within
it kind of awakens a little bit. You don't...
Okay.
You can't see the location, feel the location, but you know it's nearby.
sense for 1 mile or 6 miles in favorite terrain.
Yeah. Now that you've actually reached out for the first time in this area. Alright, but you also see there are religious texts nearby. You do see that this is... you see on one of those... Like, as you're kind of walking by, they have their artifacts out so people can come and worship.
Mm-hmm.
There's this table away from the tables. So as you're kind of like walking around eating some food, you do notice there's this table laid out and there's this huge book, like massive book. It's like probably like 90 pounds. And you see one of the pages open and you see the name of the serpent god. It's Serras.
Serras.
It's Serrahas. Alright, so you see that name and you don't recognize it. You know all the gods. You know very well. You guys have studied all the gods. You've never heard that one before. But you see it's a serpent, in which worshipping serpents is like taboo almost. Like nobody does it because it's so old. It's
Right.
it's not even like Old Testament like in our day. It's like Old Testament but the other ones that were around during that time. You know what I mean? Like you get what I'm saying?
Weirdos.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're seeing this and you are looking at it and someone comes up behind you. It's a woman. And she's ornate. She's wearing like a purple, like midnight blue type dress, like very, very like dark colors with like a silver inlay. And she comes up and puts her hand on your bicep and like around your, like just kind of like escorting type thing.
Uh-huh.
And she comes up and just says, "I see you take interest in our culture." You look over and she's got like dark hair and she just has like these really like, she's wearing like this thing that kind of comes down over her face barely, but it's kind of like a silk, so it's see-through, but she's beautiful though. Like she's gorgeous.
I tell her, yes, I hadn't ever heard of any culture that worship any deities related to snakes, and I'm really curious about what your culture represents and who you people are.
Yes.
And she says, "Wow, unlike anyone that can read, like you're a slave and you read, but you're not just like every slave. You're beautiful." she's like hitting on you, but because like think about it, like
Right.
you don't look like anyone she's ever seen. But she says, "My name is Shadia," and she says, "I can tell you all about our culture if you'd like to take a walk." Not like that.
Insight?
Yeah. She sees your hesitation and she's a little like, "Oh please, I'm not like them." And she says, "You know, no," and you don't catch whether she's trying to hurt you or anything. She just she seems pretty earnest that she's like, "I've never seen anyone that can read that's a slave. Let's go for a walk. I'll show you some more."
All right, I will agree.
And so you see him talking to
I was
this
about
woman.
to say, I just look over and like,
You can do what you want. Here.
Mind link.
There's a lot of interesting.
she's into me.
Oh, show her your wings. Show her your wings.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
All right, so you see him doing this. Odeon, you see him at this point make eye contact with you, and he walks over to you.
That's my plan.
And says, he's talking to someone that is very, I don't know how to say this, volatile. She is very good, but I've seen her also slaughter a person. She's like a black widow, but I don't know if she's intent on killing him. And he's saying this on Celestial, and I don't know if you heard this, but like he starts speaking to you, and you're like
right with you guys.
Yeah. So he tells you, he's like, I don't sense that there's any danger with her, but nothing is safe here. Nothing.
I believe that. I mean,
But we are not allowed to approach her. Let me be that very clear. This is why I'm stepping over here. I know you have a connection. You're twins. You're brothers. You've been together. But if you walk over there, you will be dead on the floor in seconds. I'm letting you know this now.
I hadn't
For
planned
our
on
protection.
it. I hadn't planned on it, but
He is your
really
bunkmate.
thank you. Yeah. I hadn't planned on it because even though we're twins, we are very independent as well. We do everything together, but we're just like
good that you're not
we trust each
one
other.
of those freak conjoined twins.
And we can communicate. And we can sense when the other one is in danger. So we're pretty bonded. But
that's Odeon's opinion, not mine.
Oh.
I don't think conjoins are freaks. I'm just making sure that's
There's some
said.
twins watching. They're like, I quit.
But
I thought you were cool, man. No, I don't have any prejudice.
I say to
can't speak
Odeon,
You know that word? Alright. So, you say what to him?
I say, Odeon, you're speaking celestial to me. I heard you whisper it to my brother, and
He
what's
sits there
going
for a
on?
second, he's like, oh yeah. He's like, there's a story behind that, but there's no time for that. There's someone approaching. And
Okay.
he puts his head down and he kind of like bows a little bit.
I do the same.
Okay.
And is it okay to make eye contact?
You don't know, but he's not. Alright, so a man stands up, he's wearing like a crushed velvet, gold inlay, like vest, and like these dark, long robes on the outside, and you see him looking at you, and he's like an almond skin, like very like handsome, goatee type person. His eyes though are, you kind of like glance up for a second, they're gray, kind of like moonlight, like not luminescent, but they just have like this strange look to them. And he comes up and he says, Gladiator, I've never seen anyone fly before. You can look at me. And so he gives you permission, and he says, you leave. And he points at Odeon, and Odeon just bows and then walks off and starts standing by the liquor table. And you see, you're not sure what he's doing, but you see like immediately start looking around like he's doing something he shouldn't. Alright. So anyway, he says, again, my name is Hakor, and answer my question. How do you fly? I didn't have a good vantage point, but someone, my manservant said, that man's flying, and I look, and you're just hovering. I've no wizards or mages that, a strange mystical men that can levitate, but not in the way you were.
Well, that was probably the most intense battle I've ever been in. That's completely new to me as well. I felt a surge of some kind.
So,
and I
side note, so that was probably the first time you've done that?
No, I want to lie to him.
Okay, so
I don't
I'm just
want him
making
to-
sure because I want to determine your role. So roll deception on this.
Like, him and I, we can just boom at any time.
Yeah.
So I do not want anyone to know what's going on.
Okay, so roll
I like
deception.
that our powers are secret.
Right.
I like
Progress.
being mysterious.
Unless your enemy knows.
18 plus 3.
Okay, you just beat him.
Ooh.
So he's a 16 plus 3.
Oh.
So he looks at you, and for a second you are a little nervous, because he's quiet. He just kind of looks at you with these gray eyes, and he just stares at you for a few seconds, and says, "Fascinating. So you, in the intense heat of battle, evolved." And you just see him kind of look off like space for a second and says, "I should have to study you."
Study me?
And he says, "Not now, but in the future I may call upon you for entertainment."
May I ask what it could be?
"No, you may not." And so he just steps on his heel, he like clicks and like turns around and walks off. And you're like, and Odion comes back over just like, and you hear like a clink. like it's just like kind of a clink and something, like he's clearly stolen a liquor bottle. And he walks over and says, "What did he want?"
Well, I lied to him about...
"You did what?"
Well, he didn't know. I persuaded him. He asked me why I was levitating and flying, and I told him that...
They call him the Chimera. Do you know what a Chimera is?
Well, I know, but should I roll for history?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't remember anything about a Chimera. You remember vaguely. He rolled a 3. So he says, "You Chimera are fierce beasts." It's like they named him the Chimera. There's something about him that, I mean, even I don't know. I have been here for maybe 10 years, but I still don't know much about him. But I've gleaned just that name. There's a social circle here that has specific names about them. I've only heard his, and I know it's the Chimera. And I don't. What did he say to you? He wanted to know about your flying, but what else did he ask? I saw you ask questions back, which, by the way, isn't too wise.
Noted. I'm not used to these types of things.
Get used to them.
Okay.
He's just like, expect everything to go against you, and you'll survive.
Fair enough. But he wants to study me.
People disappear every day. I don't know if he's studying them. I don't know what is going on in the slave quarters, but it's not just the slave quarters. All around in outlying areas, people go missing all the time. So, I don't know.
Is he some type of alchemist? Is he? Have you heard?
Possibly.
Why are his eyes the way they are? I mean,
So he decides to kind of like step near him, ish, and take a look at his hands. You don't know this, but with the chemicals that he uses, you get bonuses in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. There's a section on tools, and alchemists have an ability. Now, tools is totally rehashed, where tools are like investigating. They help with different things. So if you're familiar with tools, you can find things. You can find, if you're a cobbler, like you're provisioning that, you can see the shoe size and what kind of shoe it would be in if it's a soldier. I mean, like, you can tell things. Like, every tool has a different thing, which definitely worth it. I'm not paid by them to say that, just making that clear. I'm not like, buy it today, you know? But, like, I love what they did
Go up to your nearest game store today. Get this buckets and buckets worth buckets and buckets.
Books and buckets.
You can find it on my website.
my website here.
Now someone's gonna make a website, books of buckets, bucketsofbooks.com, .org. All right, so he walks over there, and you see him just kind of glance down, and he's like reaching for some like food, and he comes back, and he just throws the food aside, and he comes over to you and just says,
"Oh."
His hands are stained. He's an alchemist of some sort.
Stained what color?
They're stained from
Odion
messing
just through food?
So like
seems like a dangerous thing to do.
You see people think you're not here.
Okay. Okay.
But
right,
you
right,
see people doing it all the time. They like take bites of things and just throw it. Servants come by and just start cleaning.
Oh, because
like people don't. It's decadent. People don't care.
How did you do
But
that?
he just like grabs it. You see it was some kind of vegetable. He acted like he was interested and just tossed it. You see, he's Hakor is only eating vegetables. But anyway, so he says they're stained. So I don't know what he does, but I'm sure it would have to do with some kind of testing your blood, finding something about you.
Have you been to these parties before?
No. I mean, yes, but they didn't know.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like you've been here. You know what's going on.
He's like, this was from another event. I assure you, this is just a slaver's mark. That you've been marked as one of theirs.
Damn it. Well, okay, is there something I need to know? Is there something I need to know specifically in here? is there a reason why we're here other than, oh, we did a good job in the Coliseum?
He says,
There's
well,
got to
they
be a reason, because there's a reason for everything.
Well,
That's been going
they
on.
like to show their prizes, and to us, to everyone else, we are like a real estate. We're a investment. But they don't spend money on us, so they treat us like we're toys. So they feed us, they pretend everything's fine, but in the end, we are their slaves, and there's never an escape. There's only they drag you out or you die.
I can assure you.
Sorry
I
to
will
be so
not-
bleak,
I
but
will
that's just
not
what I've
die.
seen. As you kind of are walking around, and let's get back to what you're doing. You have circled this entire area, and she's
We're inside the.
Yes,
inside
she's
the
kind of
temple.
going around in circles, and you're seeing all the hieroglyphics type thing is what the best way I can describe it. Different, they like pictograph, they draw, and it's an ancient text based off of everything from way back in the day before there was really writing. And you see this temple has been around a long time. It's a temple over a temple. She explains to you that the original temple was not to our god.
No.
It was some fake god from the north, but we've conquered it back. It's been taken back and forth a few times. But this is our place, and this is our temple. And I'm curious, your brother, he can fly. This is an interesting topic. Like, no one can fly. So,
Okay.
so,
Alright,
so
alright.
she's kind of asking you. Even though he's asked, it's
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on over there.
So, did she ask me a question?
Yes, he's like, your brother can fly. Can you fly?
No.
She's
I
like,
can't.
she kind of looks down, pity. I find it very strange that one of you can fly and one of you can't. You're not human.
What makes you say that?
All of a sudden, she grabs the bicep that she's holding onto and scrapes like a long nail that's actually not just a nail, but like a claw that's like on her hand. Like it's woven in like right here. And she just scratches along and just takes your blood and then just puts it on her tongue. Yeah, super gross and unnerving. Roll a Constitution.
Oh, 5.
You're highly unnerved by this. You're tense. She just scrapes it across, and you feel like this. Like, and she tastes it and just says, "Not human. I have much to learn about you." You feel less comfortable around here.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You don't sense like she's a cannibal, but
Right.
she's odd.
Yeah.
As you're walking around the side, a man approaches you and she's like, Amon, he's gonna come up and ask questions. Just ignore him. Don't answer his questions. Which you've been told you have to.
Right.
But that's what she says to you. You see him, he's wearing this like forest green robe, visibly 2 swords on his belt. Very, very like ornate man as well, but he's got like chains all over him. He comes up to you and he's walking by and he doesn't say anything to her. He says, "Never turn your back on a snake," and just keeps walking. And you're just like, "Please get me out of here."
Oh.
All right, so this is all going on. Everyone's talking. It's getting a little loud. But then all of a sudden you hear this brrr, like this horn, like this deep horn go, and then everyone stops what they're doing. They put down their food, and you see like a big door in the back of the room, which you've passed, which is like really thick, like deep thick. Like you could just feel like just by seeing it, and it opens and
Metal?
just like it cracks. Yeah, it cracks open, and you see a man being led, and next to another man. He's got a few guards and bodyguards, but you can tell these two are very important people. One of them steps forward, and he's got his hands like this, and he's very just, hello everyone, welcome to the feast, and he's just very drunk again. Like, people are drunk all the time here because it's a feast. And he's just, you can just tell he's a slimy guy, just like this, like really like greased back, sweaty. He's obese, he's just like this. Like, I mean, it's not.
His power is to emit grease.
This is my power. Oh, gross. Hard to grapple. Ew. All right.
Can't get a hold of
And then you
him.
see the man next to him who has a staff, which you've seen that staff before, similar to it anyway. It's like a ivory staff, but it's got snakes going all the way to the top.
Oh.
You can't tell if this is a high priest, if this but he's someone important. And everyone says, you know, like kind of whispers and starts talking, and then he calms everyone down and says, "We welcome the gladiators who have come and the newcomers who've never been here before." And he looks to his right, and you're like right next to him because you were just being led around. And he says, "Come forward. Where's the other one? The one that flies? Where is he?" And you're okay. So you raise your hand, and then he says, "Come forward, come forward." And you walk forward, and Odion's just like, in Celestial, just really quickly says, "Be careful." And you walk forward, and he sees both of you, and he puts his arms around both of you, and it's just this stinky, smelly man. He puts his arms around you and just says, My friends, these slaves, they're besting Ammonius's men." And everyone kind of laughs. And Ammonius, he can tell these people don't. Some of them laugh, but it's very like, you know, are we supposed to laugh at this? Like, you know, like it's one of those tense moments. You can tell there's some feud between the two. And he says, "Well, we'll have to do better than this. I admit, I missed your last performance, but I heard it was incredible. You embodied our general and survived. If only our general was as strong." Everyone laughs again, kind of out of like, you know, it's like you're great. Keep going. We want to eat. You can tell he's an official, like he's some politician of some sort. He says, "Khafra." He turns to the man to his right with the staff, and he comes up and he says, "Yes." He says, "Why do we always have to meet in this dismal temple? This snake hasn't spoken to us in 1,000 years. We eat here like we're cramped. Why can't we have outside the palace? It's beautiful. This is terrible. You always take me to this place." You see Khafra at this moment just starts seething. Like his eyes almost like glow. Like he's just like, this is their god.
Yeah.
They're very serious
I'm
about
like,
their god.
My eyes are wide right now. like-
And he says, "Darius, you know we don't speak this way, especially in the temple." And you see he's kind of like trying to counsel him, but he says, basically the equivalent of the F word, "You're a god," you know. Just says, he's like, "He's never come to me." And so he says, "Eat your food and then get out." And so he starts to walk away, and at that exact moment, the doors start closing, and you hear a scream behind the door. His scream. That's it.
He is dead.
And possibly. All right. So
Just look at you and raise like.
Yeah.
so you're kind of like you're across from where this man had been standing. You're basically either side of like a velvet like rug, and you have this woman next to you, and you Amon is actually the one that came over and so be careful of the snake. Turning your back on a snake is now on your side, and he was over by you. So he's standing next to you and just says, and you didn't know he was there. It's just like, you're like, "Oh, hi." He says, "I want you both to come with me. I want you to see why you don't disobey. Come, this will be very entertaining." And Shadia comes forward, and Hakor comes forward, and Khafra comes forward, and they all kind of like encircle you, and they say, "Open the doors." And they open the doors, and you see Darius, the politician, killed. Like he's just in a pool of blood. No one's bothered to pick him up, nothing. And he says, "That's just a small example." He just says, "The powerful fall to the gods." And you see, roll insight on the body or inspection, I guess.
20.
All right.
17 plus 20.
Investigation. Both of you see that he has no wounds, but you see that his eyes are just like bleeding, and like something happened to him. You're not sure what it was, but it definitely wasn't good. And he says, "The serpent god is real." And then everyone kind of looks at each other, the ones that have surrounded you, that have introduced themselves to you and said, "And so are we. We know you aren't human, and everyone just kind of gets quiet and just starts leaving. No one's saying anything, gladiators included. These guys have encircled you, and you're standing in the middle of all of them, and
So they know what's going on.
they're just like, let's go. This is our
gosh.
something happened that triggered this party to just end. And it's almost like the whole room just got dark, like torches like are just like almost backing away. You know, it's like you feel the presence of evil as you're standing in the midst of these people. They're not, you don't feel like demon, not that you could sense that with your skills, but you feel they are not normal either. You can roll insight on one of them. Pick which one you want them. You individually.
On Shadya, or is that what you mean? Shadya,
Anyone, yeah, Hakor, Shadya.
I want to roll it on Kefra.
Kafra.
Is Odeon still in the room? Or is he...
Odeon is
Out.
is kind of walking out with kind of like, you see him glancing over his shoulder, just like, I have to go. You know,
Yeah,
I
friends.
can't. I'll die.
Oh boy. Dang it. 8.
You're looking at Kafra. Okay.
Yeah.
So you see him. As soon as you look over at him, he looks at you. Like, you didn't know. Like, it's almost like he was always looking at you. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't, but you felt that. Like it's like almost like an illusion. For a split second, you felt like he was always looking at you, and he gets uncomfortably close to you, like this close to you, and he just says, "Tomorrow will be fun." and then he just says, "Do not fail. Die for us, would you? Just die. We don't like you here. We don't know you. That scares us. We don't like you here. Just die. We can't kill you. The people, they like you. We don't. Let me make that very clear. We don't like you. So, die." He just like keeps repeating himself. Like, he's just like, you see him just like, he's not angry, very collected, but trying to intimidate you. Like, he's just, like, you're not comfortable. You're both just in robes, but like,
Right.
you know. Anyway, as you're just listening to this guy repeat himself at you,
Golly.
someone in the back says, "Council, would you like me to take him back now?" And they turn to him and says, "We did not permit you to speak." And immediately he just drops, and one of the guards just drags him out. And
can I like try to detect a source?
yeah, absolutely.
Well, 2.
No, you like.
Okay, yeah, I didn't really roll
Yeah,
that.
actually roll. I don't count
3
pokes. It's fine.
2 and a 3.
Even if you rolled a 20 on the.
May I as
I mean,
well?
it's a 6.
Yeah, you can.
A 6, I
Absolutely.
guess, technically, but...
Because it's our job to sense. 9 plus what would it be?
So you're looking like Arcana,
Perception?
I guess.
Oh,
Arcana.
Since you're trying to see where it came from.
Oh,
Is that what
it's
you're-
just a 9.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, so you see that it definitely was Khafra that used some kind of magic. You sensed and you almost saw
Oh
something.
my gosh.
That's the guy that was telling us to just die?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get a certain feeling
He was the goatee
that
guy
I'm
that
thinking.
was...
No, that was Hakor.
Yeah.
So, and he says, well, if, you know, as you're kind of like being led out by them, they're kind of like walking with you, very calm, and like the way they're moving is uncomfortable, almost like they're swaying like this when they're walking.
Snake.
And yeah, kind of, you know, like it's got that they believe in this god, they've embodied this for thousands of years, you know, they even move kind of serpentine. And so as they're moving and they're just kind of talking, and Shadya's holding your arm again, and you're just like, oh, please stop touching me. They lead you to the exit, and they kind of line up, and they said, and you know, Shadya turns to you as she's leaving. She's like, "I will do my best that you don't die. You'll be an ornament." And and that's what she says to you. Hakor turns to you and says, "Fear not, your body will not go to ill use." And you don't know what to say to that, but they turn around, and then the doors start to close. You see the body that was dragged off. His whole face was just like bubbles, and just like something terrible happened to him. And the door shut, and you're at the steps, and one of the guards comes up that was his friend. You can see he's very upset. He's kind of like almost on the brink of tears, but just kind of like holding it back. He's shaking, like He's very uncomfortable. He just says, "Come on, let's go." So he starts leading you back to the slave quarters, which just around the corner. You get there, and those 2 Goliath guards are standing there, and one of them's holding a bottle.
Oh,
One of the guards is holding a bottle.
Yeah.
Odeon.
So
I just smile and look down.
so you get to the back, and Odeon, they open the gates and get you in there.
He thought he could get away with it.
Yeah, so Odeon yeah, he didn't make it through the gates of the bottle. So you see Odeon, and he's bruised. He's got like this huge like mark on his face. You can tell he got a little beat. But he says, "You are alive." It says, "I can't believe it. The council spoke to you and you lived." What did they say?
They asked us to die.
They want us to die very badly.
And you just see him. He says, "Shit." He's like, "And we're going to the arena tomorrow? That means I'm dead." He's like, "I can't survive without you." And he looks over, and that you see those 2 Goliaths just like drinking, and they're like, they're like drinking back and forth. And he says, "You know that hole in the corner?
Yes.
Do we want to see what's down there? We might have a chance tonight. They're getting drunk. I chose the hardest liquor I could find, mostly for me because the other stuff barely works on me."
I'd say we give it a try. There's a man by the hole who notices it as well. How do you know about the hole? And why do you...
He just begins to laugh while looking at you. He says, "It's not important. The important thing is that we find something. We're going to die tomorrow."
It is important. Because no one else can see it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they can't. No. They wouldn't. Why would they? He just says,
getting answers out of you.
"We don't have time. The important thing is I could get you in."
In the hole?
Oh, yeah.
What's the plan?
I don't know.
I thought you could get us in.
I could get you down there.
How?
But we'll have to go over and look. And so he's very just like, he's chipper. He knows he's going to die. He's just like,
Okay.
I might as well speak to these people. So he says, "Well, we can't go now, but come nightfall. They haven't locked our cages yet. How would we keep them from locking our cages? Yeah, they're going to be drunk, but they're going to be locking cages."
I'm going to tear a piece of my cloth and put it in the lock.
I want you to do a sleight of hand as you're doing this.
Okay.
Hopefully you're a dexterous man.
1!
So as you're trying to, you like ripped it, and it like ripped your whole like robe area, just like, which it was a brand new robe, and it's like ripped, and you're like trying to place it, and it just keeps sliding because it's like silk, and it just keeps falling, and you're like, you had a hard time ripping it, by the way, it's silk. But you managed to kind of get it in there, and it doesn't look. It looks extremely overt, like. It's white, and if someone walks by, they're gonna be like, "What the heck is that?"
Can someone else try?
Yeah.
Just kind of put that
Or
in
something.
I see him fumbling. I'm gonna be like, "Here, give it here." You know, like brothers do. Like, let me do it.
This is too slippery,
What
brother.
are you doing with this?
16.
Nice. Okay, you successfully.
Thank you.
You see what he's doing, and you just kind of jam it in there.
Yeah.
You just basically like tear it, like you rub it against the corner and like rip it and just put it finer in there.
Thank you. I can't grip it for some freaking reason. I can't grip it.
You got grease on your fingers from that food. It's not your fault.
All right, so it takes you a few minutes, but you figure it out. And what do you do until nightfall? The slave quarters is still open.
So I'm thinking
They do have like a bar. They have not like a trading, but there's like a gambling area based on other fighters. There's you've been around here a lot, and there's quite a few things going on. People like give food for favors. Other people fight all the time. There's little like pit fighting where people earn like credits, I guess, where like you are given the best mattress. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing fancy, but it's to keep you entertained. But that's what's in here.
Okay.
Quite a few people just hate you though. Like most people don't talk to you. Like at least 95% don't talk to you or give you death glares. You're the
Well,
favorites.
we do need to go find Cross-Eyed Jones in the tent.
What's his name?
One-eyed.
again?
One
Oh yeah,
You
he
never-
got just messed up.
Yeah, you actually never asked his name.
yeah.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
But he was just like, super intense, and he was like, "Get out."
Yeah, get
He's kind of crazy, but
We need to also. I'm saying this out loud, everybody as well. I say, okay, first, yes, let's go talk to him. But if tomorrow's going to be a big deal, we need to come up with a plan because obviously you can fight. That is apparent to us
he's like, I've swung a sword before.
many times. And is Badru anywhere to be seen?
He's not.
Oh boy.
You haven't seen him since you.
But we definitely need to talk to that guy for sure.
And I don't. Was I educated about the planes, seeing how?
Yeah, I mean they're similar to the D&D books. I mean they're
Yeah.
different names, but the exact same thing.
So
I'm not changing that much.
I'm trying to reflect on history, what connections I know between snakes and planes, since I detected a portal of some kind.
Okay, so you still kind of sense that portal. You always kind of have. It's been like a dull hum, but in this area you haven't. You know it's kind of like a suppressed magic area.
Okay.
There's actual sigils on the wall that prevent magic use.
Okay.
So you're trying to reach out and like feel this, but it's almost like you're running into something, like mentally. But you do right before you entered, you're like something like it's nearby.
Yeah.
You just don't know where it is. It may not even be in the temple. Like it's within a mile somewhere.
Right.
You know.
Right.
All right. So, we wanted to go find that elf with the one eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so as you're heading down that long stretch to the very end, it's against the stone wall and then against the temple. So you got the outer wall. I mean, there's an inner wall and an outer wall. You're against the inner wall, you are a very protected area. You get closer and you just see people just staring at you. Some people actually just say, "Well done." Like, I heard what happened. You guys survived again, you know. And the other person's just like. You're just like, you'll be dead tomorrow. You know, and other people are saying, have you heard what they're up against? And just like, you're just kind of like going. You get to the very end. I mean, you can stop and ask him.
Yeah. I would hear that and stop and say,
what do you mean?
Whoa.
What are you talking about now?
He's like, how do you know? We don't.
Oh, they call it the gladiator killer.
And why obviously it kills gladiators.
Have you heard of the Hall of Heroes?
No.
Yeah, he's a young man. Like, he's probably in 16, 17.
Oh dang.
Yeah, definitely a man in this time, you know. Like, but he's just younger, and he kind of voice cracking a little bit. He's like, well, there's a hall of heroes. They're all stone. They were the heroes.
So
this wasn't carved of them, but whatever. If they want you dead, they just turn you into stone and put you in the commons. You are immortalized.
The best. Would I know what turns people to stone?
Roll history, definitely.
I know in my head what doesn't, but
yeah, metagaming.
Yeah, history.
Yeah,
13.
You do know of a few things in history that turn things to stone. Nothing in particular rings a bell, but because it could be really anything. There's probably like 5 total that can turn you to stone, but you don't have enough information to glean what he could be talking about. But you have heard.
But it is something
creatures.
that's turning heroes.
It's definitely a creature. That's all you can glean with the 13, just because of the information he's given you.
Right.
Like, you probably could have had you
Right.
ask more questions, but you can still ask him. It's not like he's like, bye,
Right.
I'm an NPC, I only say this phrase, and I'm...
and then I reset.
God bless D&D for being the you can just do what you want game.
Right.
I want to ask him, well, what else have you heard? It just turns people to stone? You don't know anything else about it?
Although sometimes it eats people.
Okay, so it's big. Very big.
It's not like Medusa.
He's like, well,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it. And he just kind of has this like stare, like off glare, just like, yeah. He's a little like, you can tell he's a little nervous talking about it, and some other slaves are kind of noticing, and they're getting kind of like, hey, you should stop talking, you know. You're basically, you're marked. You know what I mean? You're marked for death. Like people, he looks at you and just says, I can't talk to you anymore. I don't want to be thrown in there tomorrow. Who knows how many they're going to throw in. And at this moment, you've seen this girl before. She's got blonde hair. She's very fair. She's beautiful. She walks right up and she grabs you both like this, like right off your sleeves, and says, I am thrown in there tomorrow with you. Who are you?
Yeah, have you been here the whole time?
You've seen her. Yeah, she works near you. You've seen her a few times.
She works in leather, or she just works?
She works near you in the crafting areas. So she's visibly like pissed. Like she's like, she like again. She asked you. I'm
She
being
is
thrown in
coming
there
with us.
tomorrow.
She is?
Yes.
Oh.
You needed a fourth.
Wait a second.
So,
Fourth?
So I'm gonna ask her, what'd you do to piss them off enough to get you thrown in the
Yeah.
bus?
You make one thing wrong and they just kill you right off. It's just,
What do you do?
I've been in here for 2 months. 2 months, and they want to kill me. 2 months. I've avoided the arena. I've been very kind. I've taken my beatings, and she shows you these like lashes that are like fresh, and she says, and yet they kill me.
Hey,
What did I do wrong? You know, she's just like, she's beautiful though. Like you've seen her, but you haven't seen much of her. Like, but she's like, ooh, wow. Like,
as sort of a sign of good faith, I want to sort of like in a non-creepy way heal her fresh wounds.
so you put your hand on her shoulder and
Uh-huh.
like heal her at the same time,
Right.
like
Right.
swab.
Let's give her the
Swab.
old double whammy.
Yeah, just to be like, we can do this.
So you both do like one arm, one side.
Yeah.
Okay, do it. All right, so you both put
Unless
your hands.
you are trying to woo her.
No.
Do you claim her?
Like-
So you put your hand on one shoulder, you put your hand on the other, because she's gripping you both, and you both just, you're like these two like big hands, and you both heal her, and she just kind of like shivers a little bit. She's like, well, that was interesting. So what was that? Like, and she kind of steps back. She's like, I didn't ask you to do that. What if they come back to hit me and I don't have whippings? What are they gonna say about me?
Doesn't matter.
Do you think of anything past 5 seconds?
You're going with us in the arena tomorrow. Do you think it matters whether you have fresh scars on your back?
And she
Whether
just-
they see it?
She just kind of like drops her head and says, "This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't supposed to happen." She
I
just
say,
like,
look at this. We just got this, and we're going to the arena tomorrow.
and she's like, "Oh, well, I haven't got one of those yet. Is that new?"
That's brand new tonight.
And she says, "I'm sorry." She's like,
Brand
"So
new.
D&D didn't have puns. It wouldn't be D&D." The crowd goes wild. Insert laugh track. All right. So as you're looking at her, you see that she's just like, she carries herself well. Like, she's strong. She's not like creepy muscular, but she's definitely, you know,
Toned.
she can fight. You know,
Yeah,
you're
like
not worried
a
about
muscle.
that. You can tell though, like she got.
squats.
She squats!
So she turns to you finally after lifting her head after a couple seconds and just says, "Well, I'm Alana. I'm not supposed to be here, and
Nobody is.
tomorrow we're going to die. So
How did you get here?
I suppose it doesn't matter if I tell you the truth or not, but I'll just tell you. I've come on some hard times, and I had to help some people do some things that aren't very reputable involving smuggling. And here I am. You can tell I'm not very good at what I did.
We've got ourselves a smuggler. Tell you what, smuggler, can I trust you? Insight. 2. Oh, 5, I guess.
She slaps you. Rolls a 19. she just backhands you, not hard, just like, and then grabs you again. I'm not a smuggler. I just had to, okay? I had to make some money. My family's hungry. It's not important, but they're far away from here, and I shouldn't even been in these waters. I was lied to.
So you were caught doing this. Does that mean that you're not particularly skilled doing these types of things, or would you call yourself?
How is the protection? to protect, and I didn't even know really. I mean, it was vague. I kind of knew something was wrong. I shouldn't have been here, but here I am. And she points over, and that man, and she points over to some guy who's just like looking over. He says, "That's the one that got me in here. He should be going with you."
Well, so you just said you were the protector, so that means you can fight.
No, well, yeah, I swing a sword once in a while.
I'm just gonna take it.
I mean, all the time. That's what I do. Yeah.
I'm just gonna just quickly move right at her, just a flat palm, just.
She immediately steps back into a stance.
All right.
That was a test.
She's like, "Am I fearing what's in the arena, or you?"
I just wanted to see. Because anybody can say that they're a fighter, but when you're put to the test, that's when it really shines.
She's just like, "But if it's as bad as this boy says, then we're dead already."
Why are you going in there assuming death? Just
have you heard? You've heard rumors.
We've lived through two. I'm not saying we're amazing.
Two against humans and an elf.
All we have to do is find some way to work together, and we'll go along as we go. But
if it turns people to stone, we can't kill this thing.
I grab her and I say, "Don't curse us."
Alright, so she's a little intimidated at this point because you're strong too. you grab her back.
She did it to me,
and then she kind of just like sighs and just says, "I don't." And you hear her speak to her god. You've heard it before. She says, "Mani, save us."
I put my hand on her
That's
head.
the moon goddess.
Oh, that's right. We know who that is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you've heard.
I
about
put
her
my hand
before.
on her head and like just let her know, like, listen.
I know you said this a while ago. MK Bones, natural 1 rolling nothing but natural 20s yet again.
All right.
Right, natural 1 with 20s. Maybe we just should call everything bad things so good things happen. All right.
Yeah.
We're the terrible men.
We're bad boys.
That's a terrible name, but that's what we are. All right. So anyway, guys. So you can tell she's pretty upset. She just got here. She's wanting to protect her family, is what she said. Give money to them. So she took on smuggling, and now she got caught in probably her first job to protect. It wasn't even supposed to be in this area. They got sidetracked. You don't know how. And then they get down to this area. They get taken as slaves, and then boom, she's in the arena to die. You know, you could tell she's like, this is the worst thing that could have happened. Like, I was supposed to just make some money, and then I'm done. You know. You were on your way to open the thing, and Odeon is just like,
well, we want to go find that elf guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's.
And so you start walking away, or what do you say to her?
I tell her, tell you what, stick with us, and we'll get you out of here.
She's like, good, because I've been getting the eye from everyone. I have kicked so many men and Odeon cuts her off and just says, we don't have time for this. I don't know who you are. He points at her and says, but I don't want to die.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just like, we're busy. Do you want to follow, or do you just want to shut up? And she looks over at him and just like glances at him and just says, I don't like you, but okay. so
he's got a point.
He does have a
Yes,
point.
he does.
So Odeon starts leading the way over, and he keeps looking back over his shoulder, looking at the other slaves, and people are kind of not paying attention. And you get to that tent where that elf was.
Knock knock. Oh.
Knock on the tent.
Call him out. People.
Yeah, Tagalog.
People. Help.
In the Philippines, they do that. All right. By the way, I speak Spanish and he speaks Tagalog, and he speaks Dingus.
I speak Dinglish.
So you see this like ear pop out of the flap first, and he says, "Who is it?" Like, this pointed ear just suddenly emerges from. And you've never seen anyone ever do anything like that.
I'm inspired by his weirdness, and I want to give him a wet willy.
I was gonna say the same thing.
If that's what your character would do, then do it.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, I want to stick my finger in his ear.
All right, so
We are twins.
people try to do it at the same time. It's not quite working.
We're we like sword fight our fingers.
These two awesome are the strangest I've ever heard of.
5-minute fight scene.
I got you, brother. Not again. Not this time.
I have you now. Can you hand me the Dungeon Master's Guide, please?
Yes. This one?
Yes, I need this.
Oh, it's a player's handbook.
All right.
Oh.
So, you successfully give him a wet willy, and he immediately comes back out and is like, "Hold on, who's shoving your fingers in my ears?"
I feel like he'd appreciate it.
And he looks at you and you're odd. And he says,
Just smile at him like,
he's like, "But odd is good. Come in." And he's like, "I've got tea."
Okay.
You walk into the very cramped tent. I mean, Alana stays out front and she's just like, "I don't know what's going on."
Okay.
Odeon comes in and he sits the guy down, like by pushing him to the ground. He's like, "There's no tea in here." and he says, "Yes, in our minds, you can create so much with your mind." And he just kind of stares off for a second and goes, "But you're not here for tea. Tell me, what are you doing here? Who are you?"
you know who we are.
"I've never seen you before in my life."
We were here the other day.
And he just kind of looks off. Stupid. Just like, that's why they beat me. And then he just goes, well, okay, so if I've met you before, tell me who you are again."
We're here because we're going in the hole tonight.
"I lost this because of the hole." Please, I think I did.
Did you drink a little too much tea?
He begins to just laugh hysterically and says, "There's no tea here, silly." He's like, "But I'll tell you
I
one
just
thing.
go like this.
That hole,
Our minds.
we're not supposed to look in that hole. Don't go to that hole." And he says, "I don't want anything to do with the hole."
You did the other day.
"Oh, I did? Well, I have some rope." he starts digging in the sand and just like, and you're thinking he's not gonna pull up rope. He's gonna roll up like a turnip or something. And he actually does. He pulls a rope and he just starts pulling it out of the ground. And you see it like going out the tent, like the back of his tent, and he just keeps pulling it, and it comes out and there's like this like thing attached to it, like a log, and he just pulls it in. He's like, he just stares at it for a second. He's confused, and he kind of looks at the log and just, did you want this?
The log?
It's magic. Just like, he looks at you with the most sincere, childlike eyes you've seen.
Arcana. 3.
I'll roll.
You almost believe him, but you're not quite sure on the veracity of this
Let's
message.
figure this out. 10.
Alright, so based on what you've determined, you're still confused that you see this log and you say it could have magical properties. I mean, he might be telling the truth. He did have rope.
It's a log of weight.
Oh!
I cast weight.
It's log from his own. His own log.
So he says, "Well, you're going in the hole? We can't go in the hole.
Ah, but
It's closed."
The guards are distracted tonight.
I see. You want me to distract them? He just looks at you again, like very concerned, but like okay, I'll do this. He's been here. If you don't remember, like I think it was like 100 years. I said
it's
like
300 years.
300 years. He's been here a long time,
Yeah.
and he's not good. He probably was an amazing person once, but at this point, he's just, I don't care. He is submissive because he's been beaten so many times. He's lost pretty much all of his mind because of the sun and the intense work he has to do every day. I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
There are no elves in here.
Yeah.
He's basically the slave. You know, like, he's just been here so long.
I built half of that temple.
Yeah, I did that whole section.
Wait, did I?
Who did that? Anyway, he says, "Well, would you like me to distract them?"
And I say to him, no, they're drunk tonight.
I'm never drunk.
But they are tonight, right?
They are Odeon.
He's like, "Oh yeah, I may have added some things."
Distractions covered.
Yeah, I'd say so.
We just need your rope and your log.
And he says, "I love that log." He says, "Okay, but will you please bring back the log? You can keep the rope. But don't tell them you got it from me, because they'll take my other eye. I need that one to
We don't want.
think."
I don't think we want to take this guy.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just like giving you a look while we're in the tent,
Like, we should probably leave this man behind.
What I'm thinking is, what's his name again?
You never asked.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we still haven't asked.
What is
Who's
your
sun
name?
touched in here? he says, they call me One Eye, but I think my name is Erdan or Ergan.
Ergan?
Erdan.
Erdan?
Erdani. Call me Erdan or One Eye.
I'm gonna call you Erdanian the One Eye. It just rolls.
I sound noble.
You are.
I'm noble. Yeah, I was once. So was my brother. He's dead.
And I say, okay, Erdanian the
He's
One Eye.
very just like gone.
Oh. Say Erdanian the
But
One
he had
Eye.
a rope, so that's pretty good. He's probably been saving that for a while. It doesn't look like a good rope, but it looks like a sturdy enough to do some climbing on.
It's not like totally rotting.
It's been in the ground for a while. So, I mean, it's not like great, but
It'll work.
It's enough.
Hey, at least it hasn't had the sun beating on it.
So Odion, he looks at you both and just says, One Eye has been here for a long time. we can determine he's not fit to come with us. And he smacks, like hits him right here, and he just falls down. He says, you didn't need to do that. and then you just, he's like, come on, we need to go now.
I say, Erdanian the One Eye, you have been bestowed a great task.
And he
To
says,
sleep.
and he says, I can help.
Are you... Oh, I say, of course. You are a funny man. You were in your past days.
He sits up and says, what?
You are a very funny man.
I am?
Of course you are.
Oh. Am I a bard?
Yes, you sing the most wonderful songs.
I do.
You do.
I don't know any songs. Oh, I know one song. I like you. Oh,
But
okay.
we need you to sing that song, but it's not the right time. You need an
Now?
audience.
Oh,
Those two guards, they are drunk out of their minds. It would be the best thing.
I always heard
If
that a
you
good
sang-
audience is a drunk audience.
See, you are a smart guy.
I am smart.
You're
And so he
smart
gets up and
you're
says,
funny.
I know. You just hear walking away as he's singing. You're not sure what he's singing or if he's singing, but he is gone. And as he leaves,
There we go.
you kind of look out the tent, and everyone just kind of like, most people are sleeping because it's nighttime. So everyone's like, shut up, One Eye. And like most people are looking at him, which is good. And Odin says, now's our chance. So he takes you over to the grate area. Remember, it's like a stone grate. Like there's like, it's eroded a bit.
Yeah.
Probably rainfall has, probably not much rainfall, but over time it has been eroded. So as you are looking at this hole, Alana's saying, wait, whoa, what are we doing? She's like, I'm sorry, but are we gonna die in the arena or are we gonna die by guards? Which one sounds better to you?
Well, I just took care of that problem, as you can see, with the guards.
Are they really drunk?
Odeon, please explain to this
He
girl.
looks over and says, oh yeah, they're drunk. And also, they may have bowel problems in the morning. But the important thing is that we have a limited time to even see what's down there. We don't know. There's something down there that's causing this smoke. And if we can cause the smoke to stop, then we can possibly in the future escape. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, before, hopefully. But the important thing is we need to move now and stop talking about this.
Yes, I agree.
So
What are you thinking over there?
he says, all right, I
Yes.
need you all to turn around. It's going to get embarrassing for me, but I have to do something.
What?
See if like acid pee.
So he just looks up at you and says, that's ridiculous. Turn around. So keep guard. If people are watching, you need to keep them away from me.
Yeah, we all need to be keeping guard. I buy
So,
that.
On that note, I need you all to be rolling sneak.
Okay. That would be a 24.
Would that be a stealth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I got 11. Dang, I got a lot of stealth.
All right. Between all of you, that is enough to be hidden in this area
Cool.
right now. All right, for the time being, because you don't know. I mean, there is a changing of guards. That is a common thing to take. You don't know how long they're going to stay there, but with Singing Man, you may have a little bit more time.
Well, maybe Odeon and his acid pea can take care of the next set of heads.
Make sure you dab. Just dab
So
it.
it's not acid pea you hear. It is something else. You hear a very strange sound. You hear a crackling, and then just.
Oh.
And for a second, like behind you, like you over your shoulders a little bit, you kind of see a little bit of a like this like kind of purplish glow, real fast, and then gone. And he turns around and says, "If this doesn't go anywhere, we need to cover this up somehow. So think of that in the meantime." And you turn around, and you see this like hole. he's made a hole.
Wow. I knew it. I knew you had things to tell me.
And so he kind of just smiles and says, "Oh, there's so many things. Let's hurry.
Let's move it though.
So
Move it.
He's like, "So who's going down first?" That was up to you
Damn, we
guys.
are going down. Crap. First, I want to see if there's something we can plug this hole up with.
You can fly.
Oh yeah.
Worst case scenario, you can get out of there lickety split.
It sucked at my gum. Oh
And
man.
then he dies. Roll for Constitution saving throw.
Chokes on gum. 16.
You survive.
Oh,
All right. As you just magically figure all this stuff out, he is now lowering the rope down. He's not even waiting. He's just lowering the rope down.
Where are we putting the log at?
He's actually wrapping it around a nearby little like palm. Not strong. I think one at a
Using it
time
like a
could
grapple.
probably. Yeah. I don't know if that's what he intended it for, but that's what he's now like repurposing his friend, like whatever he does. So he's wrapping around this like palm. You know you can probably go one at a time. It doesn't look sturdy enough for everyone to like hop on and just start going
Right.
down.
I don't think Alana should go down.
I think you should go first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we don't know if Alana's sneaky at all, but
Yeah. She can't fly.
she could be our sacrifice. If we all have to get out, make her way at the.
Sorry, girl. We're good guys, but screw you.
She's the one choosing to follow us around.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, girl. Well, she gets what she gets. All right. Okay, so I descend.
Okay, so as you make your way down, and I'm not sure if you know this, you have dark vision,
Oh, cool.
but like into an incredible degree. Like your dark vision is like very.
Oh, that's right. I did read that.
Yeah,
about
you
that.
have
Awesome.
very good like dark vision. You start heading down.
Is that the
and
case with all Asimar?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Cool.
And so you make your way down, and it's just nearing the end of the rope when you realize that you've got another like 10 feet, which isn't bad. You could help each other out, but it's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
So wait, how far down did he go?
He went 60 feet, and it's got 10 feet more.
Oh, so
the
you got
rope
to the
doesn't
bottom of the
go.
rope and there's
He's
more.
holding the bottom of the rope. He can drop and be fine.
Mhm.
But getting out is going to be fine. But it's going to take some slight maneuvering to get everyone out.
Yeah.
But you see that, so that's where you're at right now. You
Okay.
can do what you want at this point.
Well, I want to look below me, see if it's safe to land.
And then it is. It's just stone down there, but
Okay.
carved stone. And you see the pieces of the top
Oh.
and some sand, but it's beautiful.
What's like around me?
Directly around you, it's wall,
And I can
hallway.
reach and touch it.
Yeah.
So I want to let go
It's
of the
not.
rope and
It's
just,
not. It's like shoulder to shoulder
It's like
almost.
a shaft.
It's like a shaft. Yeah.
So I want to let go of the rope and just like
Okay.
inch my.
All right. So you make your way
Way down.
down 10 feet, and you do so.
So I don't make too much like a.
Yeah. You do so quietly. All right.
I will follow next.
You can see him down there with your. I mean, it's you can see. I think it was.
I'm gonna snap just because I'll go.
And as you do, you just hear like echo down
It's
the
like let him
hallway.
know like.
And then Alana just like looks down there, and just what is going on?
So it's definitely dark down there.
Oh yeah.
So
Alana, if you notice, she does have a slight point to her ears.
okay, yeah,
Oh.
I'll assert dark vision.
She's not enough, but she's definitely not a human.
something.
Yeah.
Well, I want to just flat out ask them, how do you two handle the dark?
And Odeon says, "Well, I'm half elf." I don't like to admit it, but I can see. And Alana goes, "You're half elf too." She's like, "I never would have guessed." And so they can both see in the darkness. So this party can all see in the dark.
That's good.
Which is nice and convenient.
Right. We don't have to worry about lighting stuff. Okay. Well, I am going to follow his path as stealthily as possible.
Okay, so you make your way down, and Odion's staying there at the top, kind of making sure that this doesn't break. You know,
Yeah.
he's kind of letting you go down a little bit, and just like it's okay, and you make it down, and you're just as fine. You make it to the bottom. You have to move a little bit, and kind of like it's not crouching, but it's definitely not. It's like a 5 foot.
So there's one way to go once we're down here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just one straight, and you don't know how far it goes.
How big is this? Is it just like
it's
hands and knees, or
it's
walk?
5 foot tall, so you have to crouch.
You have to crouch.
And it's the same like shoulder to shoulder.
Can I do like a trap check?
It's kind of uncomfortable. Yeah, go ahead.
Perception.
Well, you're gonna look on.
That would be 13.
You don't see any traps. It's just stone.
Okay.
Just like it wasn't like ornately carved. It was
Right.
just structural almost.
Okay.
And Alana's
So
just
make
you
sure
hear
nobody's
Alana
putting
coming
anyone
down the
on
rope.
screen
She's
here.
like, "Why am I doing this? What is? I don't even." She's just kind of like muttering to herself, just like, "By the gods, what have I gotten myself into? What does it matter?" She just makes her way to the bottom, and she gets there, and
I'm gonna make a quieting sound at her, like shh.
and she gets to the bottom. She's like, "She gets to the bottom." and then Odeon slides down and just gets to the bottom and just says, "Well, are we going to the abyss?" It's like this is further down than I'd intended. Who leads the way?
Well, we can see very well in the dark, and we're kind of like.
Are we like 120 foot dark vision or 60? It's 120.
Yeah, so I think it's 120 feet. I think it was like 60 feet you can see like clear, and the rest is like dim.
Okay. All right.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it's my game.
I know dark elves do like 120. So
Yeah.
I
The
don't know.
Aasimar have the same type of idea, I think.
Okay.
I'll have to look it up, but I don't want to right now. So
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
no
that was
worries.
the first.
it is dark vision,
Yeah.
and they have good one. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
So it's probably 120.
Yeah.
So how wide is it?
So it's like shoulder to shoulder.
Okay.
So it's,
We could probably go first, you and I.
I love that it's only 10 o'clock.
I know.
So
Is
we
it? Wow.
have time.
Wow.
Oh, starting on time is great. We started 20 minutes late.
Oh.
None of your business. Keep watching.
How dare you?
Or do you question us? I'm killing them just because of that.
No, please.
Look what you've done.
Fine then.
This is your fault.
On the next episode of Dungeon.
Look what you made me do. You guys see Misery?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
So let's you and I.
Who's leading the way? Who's going in the back? You guys decide. I am just NPCs. I don't know if you guys do this. Kind of a note. There is a section in the DM handbook that talks about NPCs being played by the DM if it's a smaller party, which I'm doing. Which means I make them like the DM in the sense that they ask questions that help the characters, rather than me as a DM asking the questions. Back in. All right. So, you guys, who's going first? Who's going last? Do the order, please.
I mean, I don't mind going first. I was the first one down.
I guess I'll go in the back.
Okay. So you're leading up the back. Alana's right in front of you, and then Odeon, and then you. Okay. So you're heading down this hallway, and shaft. It's not a hallway. Definitely not, unless it was made for small people.
It's a dwarven hallway.
Yeah, it's a dwarven hallway. As you're kind of making your way down, it's actually getting smaller, and it's reduced you to the point of like hands and knees crawling through. The last bit of it is uncomfortable and just so unnerving. Are any of you claustrophobic?
I can be.
So I want you to roll Constitution.
Okay. Just him?
Yeah.
Okay.
12 plus 1. So 12.
Okay. Alana is very afraid. She's just like, oh my gosh. Where are we going by the gods? Are we going further? Are we just going to go in and get stuck? Because I didn't... And Odeon turns around and she says, okay, I get it. This is uncomfortable. But we have to go like this. So you guys are now squeezing through this little thing, and finally you make your way through it for probably about 20 minutes. in this
Oh,
uncomfortable
man.
like darkness where you're just like, is this gonna end? Is it gonna get thinner? Are we just stuck? You know, it's like that growing, unsettling fear of claustrophobia as you're getting closer and closer. Finally, you get to something. You get to the end, and it drops a little bit. It's about 6 foot,
Oh, wow.
and it's a room that's square. Oh, the baby. And there's a baby.
Oh my gosh.
That would actually be terrifying.
You're producing all this smoke.
Go back, everyone go back. Nope.
Good.
Nope.
Turn around.
Nope.
No.
So much nope.
Yeah.
It's just only, it's like back is facing it, it only
Oh
just
gosh,
turns
no.
its head.
I'm already freaking out. Alright, so the baby's not there, but you hear
So it's a 6 foot drop.
and it's
and
square and it's got some different corridors.
Different corridors, like person walking size corridors.
So yeah, this is like part of the temple.
So this is like a legit.
The
room.
underground temple ish. You assume. You've been going downward slant. Not a severe slant, just a slight slant going downwards.
Corridors down every. Wall.
You see like 2 corridors, maybe one going to the right, one straight forward.
Okay.
It's kind of hard for you to see.
Right, I'm in the back.
You're like,
I haven't really seen anything.
what's going on up there?
Alana, move your big butt.
Your squatulous butt.
All those darn squats. All right, so what are you doing? You're up front.
I just whisper back and go, "There's a big room. You can be in here. Like people can be in here."
And you hear Alana say, "Well, then go. I
Right.
want to get out of here.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just smelling his feet, and I can't take it any longer."
It's a 6 foot drop, so I'll.
And Odeon just goes, "Poof, my feet, your breath." As you exit, are you getting down?
I want to look down. But is there anything on the floor that could?
Yeah, there's
Trigger.
there's like a slight table. Like
Okay.
it's not like when I say slight table, it's like carved in. It's not like a table, but there's some stuff laid out like a table.
Okay. Ah. Hop down.
Yeah, check for traps.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay.
doing.
Roll
Oh.
roll investigation or perception, whichever you prefer.
golly.
What do you? If you just do one thing, describe how you're doing it.
I just want to like look and just like.
Just scan, just in general. Okay,
everything
perception.
around. I
So
saw 8.
okay, so 8. You don't see any traps, but you do feel like this place is dangerous, as it was the temple, and those guys were terrifying.
Yeah.
So this isn't like a good place
Yeah.
you're in.
Yeah,
Right.
we should be like either. We need to do this
Stealth.
quickly,
We need to stealth the whole way through this.
Okay, so
but time wise as well because. I
Right.
mean,
you've been in there 20 minutes already.
Yeah.
Right.
that's a long time.
When I get in there too, I also want to scan for like tripwires, pressure plates, that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. All right, so
Being a hunter.
he goes in, and then everyone else
No.
starts going in. Alana doesn't check for anything. She's just like, she's seeing her, and she's not weak. She's like resigned to the point of, this is not what I expected today, but also I'm still terrified because I'm a
Well,
human.
right.
I'm a human being. Like, I'm a person. Like, this isn't a usual thing. So sorry, half elf being, and you check for pressure plates and things like that. You don't see anything like that. It's a very simple room.
Okay.
Probably a room for prayer.
Okay.
Like the way religious artifacts are laid out, it looks like a place for prayer. There's a dagger that's like got a serpent on it. It's got like there's this in the corner. There's this like
sacrificial.
shiny little area, and but there is a dagger.
Yeah. I'm
So
gonna take the dagger.
and hide it up all on.
oh gosh, no,
You're taking this.
just put it in her
Be like
side.
7.
All right, so you take the dagger, and now you have a dagger. It's a 1d4.
Not super effective, but
But
I mean,
hey,
that's not really any better than my fists.
yeah, but
good
at
kick
least
with
a
that.
proficiency
Right.
bonus to it.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, so you take the dagger. You use the dagger in the arena, so it's not like you haven't been using daggers.
Right.
All right, so you take the dagger and he says, "We probably gonna take that back up with you."
Right. Yeah. But while we're down here, we get into trouble.
Good point. And he says, "Okay, well, keep your eyes out for weapons or anything that's makeshift." And he actually takes the statue like of the serpent. He's like, "Not my gun." Spits to the side, and he just says at the same that exact moment, you see his eyes widen and go,
Waiting for
And then he waits for a second. He's like, okay. He got a little nervous. He's like, wait, I saw that guy do something similar. He died. Which actually confirmed some of his suspicions. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I think I know what he is.
So he takes a second.
What Odion is?
No, what
the serpent. Whatever his face is.
I can't remember his name. The guy who was
Kafra.
in my face. Yeah. I think I know what he is. Or all three of them.
All right. So, well, there are four, but all right.
Four?
Yeah.
Shadia.
Well, Monius is counted amongst them.
Monius.
Oh, he was there?
Oh yeah, he was there. He was being made fun of. All right. So, anyway, and you're kind of standing about the room, and Odion says, "Well, we have to. This is leading us in. We need to get out.
Yes. We do need to get out of here.
We either escape tonight or find a path to escape and go tomorrow. You know, we can't just. We can't. We don't know where we're going, so we need to decide quickly before the guards find us, and it's all for nothing. We get trapped down here. We're done."
Okay, I want to use my detect portal ability.
All right.
To decide this way or that way, kind of a thing. Do I sense anything?
Yeah, you do. It as you use the sense, you actually sit down. You sit down cross-legged, and you just kind of like you hold on, and everyone's just like, "What are you doing?" You know what he's doing.
I just say shh,
and everyone just is quiet, and you kind of put your head down, and then you put your head up, and just your eyes are like glowing. Not like luminous, but like if you can, anyone that sees him, like it's not your pupils. Like you are like you're in some kind of ethereal state. You know, you're looking around and you just kind of like sensing. You do see that there's something deeper into the temple. You can kind of see like it's almost like you can see through walls, but you don't see the walls. You just see like something like a faint glow, like pulsing in the distance. Okay. It's weak and volatile. It's not like a very strong, structured portal for like traveling from great distances.
It's not a Stargate.
No. Well, you know what I mean. Like in like a city, like a major city, there will be like an expensive. You have to pay a lot of money to get through this portal, and it's very ornate and just like, don't worry, it's safe. You know.
Yeah.
But this is like you're pretty sure that they don't know what they're doing. You know, like whoever made this, like it's not very well made.
Okay.
All right. Like it flickers, meaning like it's not always good, which means that it may not always go the same place.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that's what you sense. And
I can assume it's planar, right? Because that's what I detect as a planar portal.
It goes somewhere else. Yeah. Different plane, not Earth. I guess it's not Earth. It's Tavoria.
It's Earth.
Adjacent.
Yeah.
Tavoria adjacent. Anyway, you are seeing him do this, and he finally stands up, and you can share with him or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him there's some bad juju down. So if we can find a way down, we'll find something.
How long will we be down here? Does anybody keep track? Odion?
There's 25 minutes.
25 minutes?
Longer?
Okay.
No, we've been total. It took you about 5 minutes to figure it all out.
Okay.
To connect, you're under a
How
temple.
long till the guard change?
He says, well, they normally do it about 3 o'clock. It's about 1. So we don't have much time. We have time, but we don't know where this is.
They are drunk.
This could be a labyrinth.
We've probably got 45 minutes, an hour to go down until we have to try
we better do this quick.
Okay.
All right. So, right or straight?
What way did you sense?
Down.
Straight down?
So it's more straight from where you're standing.
Straight, yeah.
Because it kind of goes straight, but it's that direction. It really could be either. Because it could just,
whatever is going to get us to go down.
You don't know which way to go. So
the portal could be what's leaking the smoke. So we want to.
Could be.
We should try and find a way to destroy it, or something. What else is in the room with us right now? Like is there anything that we can move or?
No, not really.
It's pretty much an empty room.
It's got some like lotus flowers in a little vase type thing. It's got things like that, but nothing too fancy.
Here's the thing, guys. These people are very powerful. We sense their power. They know things, and we need to be really careful. We need to do this fast because if they're monitoring this, they will probably know that we're down here.
They're not human.
Yeah, they are definitely not human.
Who knows where they came from?
They are. I have a feeling they are directly connected to snakes. By the way, they can just kill you
For all
instantly.
we know, they're from the Nine Hills.
Yeah.
If
I have
they're
a feeling
portal
that they
somewhere,
are.
who
right.
knows what they're doing.
I have a feeling
what,
that they
what
are
demon they're
snakes.
serving.
Right.
They could be serving any number of them. There's
Right.
there's great lords of different planes.
Are there any snakes on the walls?
Not right here, no.
You looking for a secret door?
No, I'm thinking that they can also. I'm thinking they can use the hieroglyphics to see as well. Because they're that connected to snakes and everything's a snake, and all these people, like all these important people, have snake staffs, and they're looking.
Yeah, if you remember, which some things are kind of coming to view as he's saying this. Some of them had pendants of snakes. Some of them had all the same type of. It wasn't just a snake. It was like a body of a snake with many heads of snakes. So that's like the symbol that they carry. The staff wasn't just like one snake coiled. It was one big snake with lots of snakes. So it's particularly strange. Like, it's unusual to anything you've ever seen. But anyway, as you're saying this, Odion says, we still need to find a way out.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
We're
let's
having
go.
conversations. It's
Let's
been
go
another
straight.
5 minutes.
Let's go.
Let's
Yes,
straight.
let's go. Sorry.
He's like, we can talk while moving.
Yeah, let's
Quietly, though.
Straight,
Quietly.
yeah.
So he begins to sneak forward.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
16.
Oh shoot! I didn't roll. Sorry, I was zoned out.
we had a 17 and an 18.
9 plus 6.
All right, we're all good.
Oh,
So
6 plus 6.
it always averages as a party. Always, that's how it works. If one person's extremely low or something like that, if someone rolled really high, it kind of helps out. So they see how you're moving. As you're going down the hallway, not down particularly, but just in that direction, you see as you're passing that right hallway, it's actually closed off. So it had some kind of cave in. So as you're heading down this hallway, you begin to hear humming. Not like a portal, but like someone humming.
Like a religious chant.
Kind of like an Om chant, a little bit. And you see Odion, for the first time in a while, just stand straight up. And he just goes, hello. And he just like, we have nothing to fear here.
Why?
He
Why
says-
all of a sudden?
He's like, I know that sound. And he starts walking ahead, like, briskly.
I'm gonna tell him to cool his jets.
So you kind of like grab, like, stop what you
Yeah.
He says, there is someone down here. I have heard them, and they've taught me many things. I didn't know this is where they were. It's
Okay.
very cryptic, but that's what he says to you.
I'm gonna tell.
They are a friend, I think.
I'm gonna tell him to keep it cool and keep stealthing because this could be a trap.
He says, he kind of stops for a second, and he says, well, I don't think it is, but for safety.
Right.
He says, I have seen some terrible things and heard terrible things, so you're right.
This
You're right, I
this
apologize.
is their temple.
He's like,
Yeah.
I apologize. And so he calms himself down and gets low again, and you move even further down, and you do this for another like 3-4 minutes of just like, not at a like fast pace, but at a decently fast, hushed pace. You know, you're moving down the hallway, and Alana's just, she kind of whispers a little bit to you, who's standing right next to her, moving next to her, and she says, "Who is he?" And she's pointing at Odion.
About Odion. We don't know.
Oh, good.
he's fought with us the last couple
Well,
times.
isn't this
but
great? We're all gonna go down this hallway and just run into his friend. Who's his friend?
we don't
You've
know.
known him longer than me.
He assumes it's his friend, but we don't know that.
And she's like, oh, this is not good. And so you get further down, and it starts to round out. Like, the sides now aren't claustrophobic anymore. It rounds out and goes up a little bit. You can see it is completely enclosed, unfortunately. This is the only path, and it's completely enclosed. But right smack dab in the center is the strangest looking shrine you have ever seen. There's no one in the room with you. And Odion does stand up at this point and says, this is exactly what I've seen. And he looks amazed, like completely amazed. The shrine that you see is, you've seen thousands of statues to different deities, different things like that, but you have never seen a statue like this, and it is 100% dedicated to somebody. And you look, and there's no other entrance to this place at all. Over in the corner, you do see there is a small little kettle, and it's emitting some kind of gas.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll religion.
Yeah.
Natural one.
Makes sense. That makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to decipher, what is this god? Who is this god?
Yeah.
Goddess? You know, you're confused.
Yeah.
You look at the statue, and for you, you see a woman. You see a man.
I'm just gonna say there's a man there.
A statue.
Oh, a statue
Yeah,
of a man.
clearly that's a statue. Just to make sure, like,
Yeah.
we're clear.
Yeah.
There's a guy here.
A statue of a man.
And then Odeon says, no. And then Alana says, that's not a man, that's a tiefling. It's like those trash. And and then Odeon says, you're all wrong. And then he walks forward a little bit, and then he turns around, and you see something very unnerving. His face changes. Like, Odeon's face changes, and he says, I've been gifted powers by this one. And he looks like one of the guards. And then he switches back. It's actually something, a pact he made with this.
We are lucky. I say.
He had no idea where it was coming from. He's been up in that cell, and it found him. And he explains this to you. He says, I thought the first day I got here, I was just a priest of the god of death, and I lived in Maneba, which is the main city in this area, like the capital. And he says, and I was thrown into prison, and because I disobeyed some orders, and there's a long story, but the point is that I was in that cell the first night, sure I'd be dead, and I was visited by one of the guards, and he told me great secrets of many things, and I was very confused why he was so kind. And the next day I went and approached him, and he started to beat me and say I was a liar, and then the next day a different person came, a slave, which I'd seen multiple times, and then I went to that slave the next day, and it wasn't him. Every single day for almost 3 years, this man came to me, explaining, different people would come and explain things to me, but it was never the same person. And finally, after quite a long time, to my embarrassment, I never realized that it wasn't these people that was visiting me. It was the faceless one.
Oh.
And he is not like any god. He claims to be a trickster. But he has chosen me as his acolyte. He says there's like 4 of us in the world.
So what's the deal with the smoke?
I have no idea. I've never asked him. I didn't know it was him.
It's like a kettle that's...
It's like a kettle that looks like it has like herbs next to it.
Who's doing that?
And then the statue turns its head and looks at you and says, I've been doing it.
Oh.
But like the most ethereal, weird, like echoey sound. Like in your head, it almost like vibrates your skull. Like it's like immediately you're like, ha! And
just talking.
But it's just like really calm and just like inviting, and says, that's how I stay alive down here.
Well, why are you emitting?
Why are you here?
Emitting?
Why are you emitting this
Oh,
gas?
the fumes, yes. Well, side effects. I need it. And you just kind of hear like this weird metallic laughter, just like this strange, just like unusual laughter. And then Odeon walks up and just like prostrates himself and just like, he's just confused but like praying to him and just says, you've given me so much and I'm learning so much from you, but why? What is this? Why have you been allowed to be here when this is not your temple? He says, it was my temple. He's like, this was mine long before them, and the ones before, and the ones before them, and the first ones. They've all been very annoying and loud, and very, very. They desecrate my very presence, and you just feel the room just like pulse, like almost the whole wall just like crumbles a little bit and just like comes back to normal. Like it was very like you almost felt like the whole place was gonna come down on you, and you see him calm down, and you see her calm down, like just like different people, and then as soon as you're not seeing the statue move, but you could swear, like if you had to recount the story, that it was walking around you, but like a person. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
And Odeon stands up and he says, you know, what do we do? Like, how do we get out of here? I thought this was an exit, and I'm so pleased to find you. You know, you've been plaguing me, but with kindness. You know, he like corrects himself as the statue like looks at him a little bit. He's like, you know, with kindness, but we need a way out. If I'm your chosen, if we're here, clearly these two Asimar are not here because of circumstance. You know, this can't be, you know, there's got to be some divine providence.
Yeah, how do you know that we're Asimar?
And are you asking him that?
Yeah.
And the faceless one turns to you and says, well, he's now behind you. And he says, I told him.
What?
And he says, oh, it's not a secret. They know too.
I can tell.
Would you like to see? And before you say yes, you see suddenly your vision just go black, and you feel your body just fall, and you just hit the floor, just like you feel the pain of like hitting the floor, but you just go limp, and your sight is all combined into one.
Whoa.
And inside the temple, you're like seeing like circling this whole like chamber that is massive serpents, like cobra like style, like weaved in. And for the first time you see the council in their true form. They are all Yuan-Ti. They are all snake people.
Freaking knew it.
You remember their clothes, the way they look, most of them look very different. You see what was your name? I have so many NPCs.
Oh, was it Hakor?
Hakor, I believe it was. Yeah, Hakor. So Hakor has has like snake-like hands, like weird like tail type things. Very, very sick looking, like, but he has like part scale on this side, and his eyes are just like slits of like white. And then you see Shadya with actually a body, like lower half of a snake, and like the upper body is fine. And you see Amon with a I mean he's like part snake as well, just like they're all very strange. The most terrifying is the multi-headed snake in the same clothes as Khafra. So he's sitting before them, and he's huge. And they're speaking in primordial to each other, and he seems to be giving out plans, and they have like a table set before them, and he's pointing, and there's like little lights illuminating where he's like pointing different cities, and you see different things like Maneba in particular has little red dots all over, like just like little magic glowing dots on it. It's like this huge map, and it looks like he's explaining something, and then he draws you all back, and you're all laying just on the floor, just like staring up, and he says, and he's kind of standing above each of you individually, but he's not there, but he's right above you, and he's just saying, this is a very troubling place. It used to be so fun, it's so dark. Their plans are deep and terrifying. For you, I can't be found, but you seem to have entered, so I will do two things for you. I will give you information after you drop from my deck of cards. And he goes, just like deck of cards, just like out. You've desecrated my tomb, but also I will help you.
I say we do not come as foes, or we come as friends. We were captured from our lands. We want to if we can help you because you're helping us, please tell us. You're doing a great service to us.
He says, I am. But desecration is desecration. So he hands you like a deck of cards and said, pick one. And they're not like normal cards. They're just like slabs, but like they're huge.
Tarot-y kind of cards? Tarots?
Ish.
Okay. I say... I just kind of... Are they like out like this?
Yeah, it's
Or-
totally... You can't tell what any of them are.
Okay, I just want to kind of like...
They're actually metallic.
Oh, wow. I just kind of
And
want to
they
like
look nothing
those
like
I
anything
feel
you've
like...
seen. You can tell they're cards, but like... because he called them cards.
Yeah, you're like, oh, great. So I'm going to pick... How many are in front of me?
You can't tell. They're kind of bunched together.
Okay, so I'm
You can
gonna
make
go,
a general guess, but
I'm just going to go right
I have them all randomized and numbered on my book, so you can't peek.
here. So...
All right, so I want you to roll a. Let me just double check. $22. So do a D20 and then a D4. And I randomized it, so that way it wouldn't be like if you knew or if someone knows, they can't just be like, what are you supposed to do?
So 14 and 2.
Alright, so you rolled a 16. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Suddenly, before you, in your hand, he says, and he starts to kind of speak almost in riddles, but like in a very sing-songy voice, but it's not quite rhyming. He looks at you and says, with great fortune and great suffering, often you find things that will help you. I have before you, and you give me your hand. And so you put out your hand, and in your hand suddenly a huge gem appears, and you know there's two of them, like it's two gems, but they're kind of combined, and you can guess that it's worth huge amounts of money, like at least 2,000 each if you were to split them in two. And he says to you, I don't curse. And then he turns to you, and kind of like in a very uncomfortable. There are not very many good ones. So.
Oh, glob.
22.
Okay. This be fun. Well, I guess I have to do it. Okay. Okay. Suddenly, you feel this intense hotness, but like in your aura, not in like your actual body, but like your soul. And you hear laughter of a devil. You can tell it's a devil. It's just this dark, deep, uncomfortable laugh. And he says, I'm coming. The devil seeks your ruin, he says, and it plagues your life. The lights are all going out.
How dare they?
We're setting the mood.
Yeah, that was pretty perfect. Wow.
He plagues your life, savoring your suffering before attempting to slay you. This enmity lasts until either you or the devil dies. So he's basically imprinted your soul as a mark.
I have to kill the devil now.
Not the devil, just a devil.
Well, it's like, oh.
And he looks, and he just like, it's kind of like that sad face that like a mask, you know, the like happy sad. It's kind of like turns to this weird. He doesn't know how to smile or frown. He just looks at you and just gives you this strange, uncomfortable frown.
Man, what a cool.
And he says, he's like, I am so sorry. He's like, the way it is the way it is. And all right, then he turns to Odeon and he says, you know better than to just enter a tomb. And he says, I am so sorry. He's like, no matter. And then he hands him, draw the card.
I really need to...
Oh,
sweet. A couple of these 20s.
He also
toss
rolled
my
a
gum.
22.
all right. Same thing. the devil then also says the same thing to him. So good thing is that it's the same one.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it will come from both of you together.
Right.
You have a slightly higher chance of defeating him, maybe. All right, and then he just says, I'm sorry. He's like, it's okay. If you die, we'll find purpose. And then Alana's like, I don't want to do this. She's like, I don't even want to be here. And he says, no matter. You gain proficiency in persuasion skill and double your proficiency bonus on checks made with that skill. In addition, you gain rightful ownership to a small keep somewhere in the world. However, the keep is currently in the hands of monsters, which you must clear out before you claim this keep as yours. I will find out what that means later, and we'll figure that all out.
Interesting.
She pulled out the throne. It's called the throne. You called out the flames. And then you pulled out the gem. So, there are much worse.
Can I ask what this does?
He turns to you and says, why, that is currency. Useless to me, but it is what the fates have decided. I give and I take and I curse and I bless.
I have another question.
I might answer it.
I say, well, first, thank you so much. Like this, wow, this is beautiful. I haven't held currency in over a year, and this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
It really is. He pulled it out of like the depths of the earth, like this massive gem. Like it's
what do I do with
amazing.
it?
It's like it's solid money. Like
I can't take this back up with me.
you maybe could. You can bury it. You're in sand. Just hide it. That's what Odeon says. He's like, I mean, you could try to hide it. And Odeon's just eyeing it. Just, I'm not really a money person, but that's
beautiful.
Like it will sell for a lot. It also can be a bargaining chip. Odeon says. He's like, perhaps a greedy guard could help us escape.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll tug at my rope, but
it's an expensive escape, but it is escape.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I mean, you'd have to roll, and if it fails, he just takes it.
That would suck. I also ask...
Torture you for more. Alright.
Yeah.
Where'd you get this?
I say... I don't need to ask you too many questions. You are of a higher being, which I cannot fathom.
You see him sitting on his statue now. Like he's just sitting on the top of it. He doesn't have a face now. He's just blank.
I say, but these leaves, these incense leaves.
You mean for the smoke?
Yes.
He says, well, I don't need it. It just helps me remain clear.
I ask him...
You see, in the sides all around are just barrels and things of emptying, like it's been emptied over time, and he just has like a few barrels left. So he's been using whatever this is for, I mean, it's probably drawn it out for a very, 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 very long time. Don't know how he gets more, but you don't know anything about him.
Right.
He could probably teleport, you know, like you probably could be anywhere, anytime. If he can get up and walk around the slave quarter, you don't even know how he travels. Like,
right.
I say,
especially because there's magic canceling things nearby.
I ask him, yes, you've given me many, many, many things. This is amazing, but may I have a piece just of the smallest petal to consume?
He says, well, yes. And he just smiles and says, go ahead.
I say, how much may I take? How much?
How much do you think you should take?
If it clears you, then it might have some kind of mind-clearing abilities. You are a god, after all.
Go ahead and take one.
I say,
you too. He looks over at you and
like, eat one?
Yes.
So I'll eat mine first, so you can see what happens.
I don't think I have a choice.
I eat mine first and I chew it up really well. Really, 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 really well.
it's got that strange, I don't know if I should eat this plant taste.
Bitter.
Yeah, it's like, it's bitter, but also like, it's kind of got a sweetness to it. It's almost got like a mint, but much worse. Like, it has like a nice little sweetness, but then also very painful bitterness.
Okay, so I consume it, I swallow it. Take a deep breath.
Yeah, you might do.
So you both kind of just like
Choice.
together take it,
Oh.
and at this exact moment, you both hear a voice you have not heard in a year and a half. My sons. And that is essentially, it's crazy you just did that. I had that option.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
No way.
Man, I prepare for everything in a room. It's not just for there. You know?
That's
So
cool.
you take it and you hear it. It basically cancels those magic tomes, like those things that are keeping magic. So anyone, because you could throw a wizard in there, you know, some powerful wizard, and he just breaks out, flies away, blows up the world. You know,
Right.
But those are magic canceling runes all around the walls and in your work areas. And for the first time, you feel yourselves. You feel his presence, your father, but mostly he doesn't consider himself your father, even though he just referred to you that. It was a very endearing thing, which you've not heard often with him. He's been very distant, and he doesn't speak to you while you're awake. He always speaks to you in dreams, but this time is the first time. That's all he said, and that's it. And then, and you see the faceless one just kind of just like start laughing, and just he's over there, and just says, "Oh wow! I've never seen Nasamar up close. I've seen and touched a few, but I've never seen you up close, Azrael." And then he says, "I'll be back," and he's gone. Like, it's quiet. It's very quiet. And he comes back and says, "Yep, it's Azrael."
Wow.
And you see like a kind of like a singe on him, like a little bit, like something happened. You're not sure what, but it was like something happened. But you'll never know, maybe. But
Oh man.
he's back, and he's still kind of laughing. He kind of winces a little bit, and then he looks at you and says, "Sons of Azrael, my tomb." He's very like excited, and he just starts laughing again. And Odeon says, "I hate to cut this short, but you know all things. You know that we need to leave. How can we escape?" He says, "Well, there's no escape. They've got you. They have you. Tethered. And you just see him get angry, and just like, first time angry. And he just says, "Oh, I wish you could be free. There's so much I need doing. Oh, tomorrow you will die. That I know. At least one of you." And for the first time, you see Alana just go, "Oh, it's gonna be me." Two gods and whatever that man is, and she just and he comes to Alana and says, "Oh no, maybe." Like, he's just like very just like, you're unsure about everything he said, but you do know you are branded. That is 100% sure. Anyway, he says, "I have a question for you in regards to the beast. Would you like to know more about him?"
If you're willing to offer the information, yes.
"For a price later down the line. I'm not asking much, just something when I need it." He just burps. So he's asking for a favor down the line if he reveals something.
I don't want to die.
Question is, will he provide anything valuable? He considers himself a trickster.
Are you talking to right now?
Yeah.
I'm just asking because, like, okay.
I'm at this point. I'm just like,
He looks very studious, and he's just watching you and just kind of just like, just like kind of not mocking you, just very strange,
Yeah.
very unusual. You've dealt very little with anything that's godly. You've talked or heard from, but it's been like very distant, just like, go to this mountain, do this thing.
Mhm.
You know, like it's very like, I'm busy type thing. It's like a father with his child who's just like, but like a bad father that's just like, just go over there. You know, like if you question and ask. It's very hard to get an answer. But this one's just having conversation with you in a room. You've never seen him, though, in any pantheon.
I agree to your terms.
He says, I will tell you one thing that may save one of you and possibly kill another. Drink the bile of the beast. And that's all he says, if you can stomach it.
Okay.
Bile of the beast.
Bile of the beast.
He could be literal, he could be, you never know. Like,
Yeah, we don't know yet.
And Odeon says, so you're sending us into the arena? Believe it or not, I like the games myself. He's like, I am wagering against you if had I someone to wager against. And then he says, would you like to go back to your cells now? They're coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he says, Alana, your family's okay. They don't need you. And then, like, you're all awake in your cell and it's morning. Like it never happened.
Holy crap!
Odeon wakes up and says, please tell me that wasn't another one of my dreams.
Man. How interesting.
So
Took a while to develop that
I turned
guy.
to Odeon and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Roll deception.
17.
Okay, he's just like, well, are you ready to die today? He doesn't believe any of it happened last night.
Drink the bile!
You wake up to the singing of a very loud elf. And everyone's covering their ears. Some people are like gathering rocks to go kill him. Your gates are, your place is shut.
What?
You're like locked in currently.
Except we're not.
Do I still have the jewel, man? It's gone.
But you slept on it.
Oh.
You wake up with like an uncomfortable, like barely. It's like in the sand, but it's like barely poking through. You're like, ow,
Man.
I didn't build. I mean, when you cleared this place to like make a area to sleep on sand, it was much better than that. So. Anyway, so you have that hidden in there, kind of.
Can I hide it better?
Yeah, absolutely. You successfully moved dirt.
Right.
No one's looking at you at the moment, but
12.
you try to sneak the best you can. Only he sees you. Odeon's kind of just looking at you a little bit, but he doesn't see what you're doing. He's just like he brushes it off like a nothing. Anyway, you hear the guards coming. It's time.
Dang, we got plenty of time still too.
To what?
Like,
oh, I was
to
like,
go.
no, you're moving now. You're like, we've got plenty of time.
we can have tea.
Yeah, let's go have some of that tea.
Oh man.
Odeon, then,
I assume I don't have the dagger anymore. Okay. Alright.
It's underneath you.
Is it? Crud.
He's not a good person. He's not a good god. He's just a god.
I guess I'm just gonna bury it and hope they don't come searching through.
So
our
you
cell
you
again.
hear the guards coming and you immediately like you see him burying that. You look underneath you and you're like, oh crap! You start covering it and just like the best you can stamp it down to make it look like you laid there. And at that moment you hear the guards saying, "Them," and the two guards are returning like with their hangover with the guard that's coming to get you, and they don't look very good. They're very pale, uncomfortable, and they open the cell for you and they start dragging you away. And Alana is now, you see her coming as well. They're dragging her as well. She's just like, you don't need to drag me, I can walk. And you get closer and you to her, and she looks at you. She doesn't want to say anything, but you can tell she's just confused. Like, she's very confused.
What happened?
Like, I have no idea what happened last night. Was that real? I met you, so she feels like, yeah, you can tell she's just questioning everything. You are taken to the arena.
Hooray!
Bob. Want to keep going?
Yeah.
Do you need a break? Are you guys good? I'm good.
I think I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Okay. On to the arena.
What time are we playing until?
I was planning until probably 12.
Really?
Mhm.
Yay!
I mean, we normally do about 3-4 hours.
That's what I'm squanching about. Yeah, yes!
All right.
Okay.
Back into the fray of things. Live chat, that's fine. We don't need that. I don't think anyone's chatting. All right. Let's get to it. So we have the arena. It is loud today. Very loud. Last time you just had the nobles, which was still a lot of the city. But looks like they have everyone here today. You hear just the and just like the people like stopping, and some people just like it's just loud, just talking, and you hear some people like distantly shouting, like some of your fans, Makwana, 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 and they're just saying twins, twins, twins in Primordial, and Odeon is just pale because he's confused. He's very almost disheartened. You can tell he's like, for sure. He thinks maybe it was just a vision for him.
Odeon?
Yeah. And
I'm gonna say, man, I can't believe I drew the flame card.
And then he turns to you, he just looks at you with this like this glare, and he's just like, that did happen last night. It's like, you bastard.
Don't want you forget you drew it too.
Yeah.
And then he just like goes, oh yeah. Oh, I hope we're not dealing with that today. And then he looks over at you and says, "Are we ready for this? What is the drink the bile? Like, have you ever heard that phrase? Is that sound?"
I've never. Well, it's
whatever it is, it's gonna spit on us. Or
well, he rolls a history, and he said
throw up.
he rolls a history on the phrase and says, "I have never heard that before." And he rolled high, like he's never heard that before. That's never been like a phrase that I've heard.
Drink the bile.
Bile of the beast. Is that literal?
The bile of the beast.
Well, I don't know how else we could drink it. I guess we should just watch. Kind of see what happens.
Alana looks and says, "I'm not drinking any bile from any beast. I've thrown up before. I know how that tastes. I have no interest."
Well, you will probably die then. So
she kind of like goes, "Oh, wow. Okay."
I would take the instructions.
And so they lead you to the finest room, better than the feast that you were at.
Better.
Just super decked out.
Oh,
Last
wow.
meal situation. And before you are your weapons. You know the drill. Roll for your what you are seeing.
Is it like an addition?
Do you want to add anything?
I am just. This is just a base roll.
I rolled an 18.
13.
Okay, well, I already know what ones you're gonna get. I planned this out way in advance. Alright, so you both, let me just make sure I find it. You are given something special today.
What?
You are given the armor of your choosing
Huh.
and a specific weapon for each of you. Alright, so before you see a double-bladed staff type thing. It's like a spear.
Okay.
You know that you're not particularly proficient in that. You know he is. Before you see a sword. It's a long sword, and it looks silver. It's that bright. It's like very, very beautiful. It looks like that.
Oh. Can I
Covering the name so
Oh.
you can see it. You don't know what it does.
Right.
You
I
see
was
a
like,
beautiful sword. And you see something else entirely. There it is. You see that?
What? Oh,
That spear.
that's the one that I see.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like Darth Maul.
In the sense that it's two
Bladed on
blades
both
either
ends of the
side.
staff.
So
blade staff.
you are kind of at a, you're like, oh, I wish I had what he had type thing. But
Well,
you can trade.
I'm like,
You know,
right. Trade after we get in.
Yeah. So the guards are standing around, and Alana picks up a weapon, and it's it's nice. It's just nothing like it doesn't look great, but it's a warhammer. So she picks up a warhammer and a shield, and she dresses herself in studded leather.
Studded leather.
Clank.
What
And
about
we have
Odeon?
leather of our choice.
What?
I mean, we have armor of our choice.
You do. It looks like they're expecting you to die and look like heroes.
What do I? What am I good with? I mean, as a ranger.
Medium armor, so like leathers and
Leathers.
I think some mail. Can you hand me the player's handbook?
Yes.
While he's getting that all set up, make sure.
Yes,
Alright. Is it getting overheated or what's going on?
No, it's just.
No, here it is. Alright, medium armor. That ranges from hide, chainmail, scale mail, breastplate, half plate, and you've got leather as well. But you would have, as a ranger, nothing that.
Probably good with leather.
Let me just double check if I'm right on that. Light armor, medium armor. Yeah, so you can.
Anything light or medium.
So, there you go. Your dex is on that. Disadvantage on stealth on those two.
Yeah. So, okay. So what if I went for breastplate?
You can have that. They have that available for you.
I'm gonna do that.
You are a monk, and you are better without it.
Yep.
Yep.
Like, is there like nice
Yeah.
cloth? Is there some kind of?
Nope.
I'm just gonna go naked.
No, they have like a shirt and like some pants, but basically like robes. They're very like loose, which is fine because you're kind of used to that.
Oh, that'd be
sort of
fine.
thing. They don't want you dressed because they're expecting you to die in a pose. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So they give you like these like cool robes you can wear.
Did I see that was 14 plus dex mod?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
When I wear robes, it doesn't give me any.
No, you just have a
Robes give you
natural.
magical
Your AC
powers.
your AC is less of an armor and more of a evasion.
You
Okay.
get a speed boost for not wearing armor.
Oh, instant transmission.
I mean, you can wear armor. You could wear
I don't want
plate
to.
mail if you wanted to, but it would be
Yeah.
a major disadvantage.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't need that garbage.
So Odeon, you see him look around, and he too grabs some studded leather, which you probably didn't expect because he seems to be using some kind of magic. All right, so he does grab a blade, but I want you to roll perception as you're kind of getting ready. See if any of you notice this.
20.
Okay, you don't notice it, but you do. He grabs a scimitar. He grabs a scimitar, and you see him go like this, just like go hand across, like some like dark energy goes across it, and you just see it kind of like shimmer for a second, and then go back to normal, and then he just kind of puts it up to his face, and he just says, "Today's the day," and then you hear the announcer, which is always the fun part, because he always tells you, "You're going to die." And this time is different, and it's not the announcer. It's Ammonius.
Ooh.
And you hear him say, "Many have called me the Beastmaster. Many have called me the killer of slaves. These are not the names I prefer for myself, but these particular slaves have offended us. They've offended our city. Not in the arena, you've seen great feats by them, but outside they have profaned our gods and spat upon our traditions." And you're just like, liar. And he says, "Now, today, as you all know, this beast to be the hero slayer, the slave killer, but don't worry, they will be immortalized forever, and we will get quite the show, as they are, as we've now come to know them, not all that they seem." And he says, "Let the final game begin." And your gate opens. This big portcullis starts opening up, and you're almost blinded by the light. It's darker than a desert, but it is all desert landscape, kind of dunes set up. But it's huge. So before the arena was lifted up with water, the first time it was a pit. This time the arena comes down and then comes like this. It's deep, so you're on a hill going down, and it is much larger than any of the arena types you've been in before. They've dug it out. It is huge down there. I mean, it's like you're going down a hill. It's going to be like a football field type distance before you get near anywhere down the bottom. And that's just your side. And what you see before you is a desert ruin, like an ancient temple that had been destroyed, and there's like pillars, and it looks like it had rained, or it's this oasis, has a lot of water. It's like as you get to the bottom, it's very reflective, and you see that there's at the tip of like a pyramid type thing, electrum coated as the pyramids were before it was removed. The tip of it was very reflective as well. It's just shiny and just almost blinding you, and you're not sure what it is. You don't see anything or anyone.
Wait, what's blinding us?
The tip of what looks like a pyramid that's like buried.
Oh.
You know how in our history, the tops of the pyramids, they used to be smooth, and they used to come to a point, and at the very top they would coat it in something called electrum, which was a very thin, fine metal. In the game, they use electrum as a currency.
Mm-hmm.
But you see it, and it's just very shiny. You could like walk up and like see yourself in it. It's almost like a mirror to you, like sun coming off of it, and you're just like, what is happening? Are we getting a tan? And you're looking about frantically, just like ready for the whatever, like what hell they've unleashed on you. And it is hot. The sand itself is hot, even though it's clearly not the sun that's shining on you, because the sun is probably the morning. It's not quite, but they create the atmosphere. So it feels like you're in the middle of like 115-degree weather, but down there is water. Not a lot, probably about this deep in some places. Other places might be deeper. But it's a temple. There's many columns broken. There's you could climb up some areas. Looks like you could get some advantage on some like higher up, but you're not sure what's down there. And people are excited and yelling, and it is hot, and do what you will. Think hard, think smart, you might survive.
First thought.
Trade weapons.
Yes.
You just
I spin around.
you hear like a buzzing sound as you moved it.
Whoa.
Ish. Not like a lightsaber, but you hear like a definite strange sound to it.
I heard two very key things on two key things.
Yeah.
Reflective and water and reflective.
Yeah, sorry, my adjectives on describing some things were a little bit...
No, it's good, because I was paying attention to it.
Good.
But...
You know me. Alright, let's get moving. So, Alana, you see her smash her shield, just like... You don't know what she does, but she's got a warhammer, which is unladylike. But she smashes her hammer and just says, like something you don't quite understand, but you probably think it's Elvish. Odeon understood it, and he just says, I second that. Let's do this. And so he kind of moves down first. He kind of starts heading down, and the armor he chose was kind of a waist, like not waist. It's almost to his knees type style. It's like a coat. He's leading the way, but you can tell he's genuinely confused about you see him just still thinking about the bile thing, but there's no beast to be seen at the moment, so he's like scanning. There is an odor in the area that's definitely foul, and you can't quite place a finger on it, but you see that there's already been a few contestants that have been thrown into it. This isn't the first bout. You do see a stone person down by one of the pillars, like they were hiding behind it.
Okay.
And like with their sword up like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like they're trying to stop something. Not much time to think because time ticks.
Yeah,
I will play it
I wanna-
smart. And here's something I will tell you. I will kill you.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill you, but if the campaign ends, we can start something else. But like, I want this to be very. You have to think hard and smart and act quick. Otherwise, and I was very kind to you in our personal. I want this to be not like, and you win somehow. You know, like I want this to. I don't want to like
Realistic.
kill you guys, but I want you guys to feel like there is danger here.
Right.
Like I don't want you to just be like, we're all right.
How close are we to that statue of the guy going like this?
That one, like I said, it's about a football field, so I don't remember how long that one is. It was 100 yards.
100 yards.
Oh, so we're still pretty far.
I'm
away
not
from
a
that.
sports
Yeah.
fan. All right, so about 100 yards away.
Okay. Shoot.
So he's down like in the middle of this thing.
Yeah, it all kind of comes down ish, and then it kind of levels out for quite a while.
I want to eventually observe him.
Okay, so you start making your way because Odion's leading the way. You see Alana coming up with her shield behind him. She's just waiting for something to pounce, something to come out of the ground. You know, I mean, you don't know what's in here.
I'm at the ready.
As you're moving, there's really no point to stealth. She's kind of saying something in her language. It sounds like a prayer. And Odion is kind of whispering to himself in what you've never heard before, but a very guttural, strange. It's almost like he's cursing something. And roll history if you've ever heard anything like this.
Nope.
17.
You've heard it once before from a visitor. It was a tiefling, and he's speaking abyssal.
Man, this dude's interesting.
And you're kind of like, okay, whatever, let's just keep going. But that's like something he knows some languages.
Been around.
Anyway, you get further down and you still see nothing. The people are still like excited, and some people are going quiet, like the anticipation. They're just kind of like, and they're kind of hushing each other, kind of like, let's watch. You know, let's wait for the pounce, the attack, the beginning.
I want to perceive like movement.
Okay, I'm gonna put this down because I have things I've got to keep track of and do. Okay, you're perceiving movement. Roll perception, please.
Perception song.
What is that?
17.
You roll 17.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Okay, for a second you see a brief movement between like the temple area, and it looked like a tail.
Oh. And the temple area was towards the center? Or?
Yeah, the temple, say it's dead center.
Uh-huh.
So let's imagine the arena is this table.
Uh-huh.
Those dice, the temple, there's pillars in different scattered areas around it. There's water, almost the whole thing's covered in water to a point. And there's like some different things, you know. Depends on where you're at, I'll tell you where you're at.
Okay. Well, it's down there in the middle.
You pointed out.
Yeah.
And Odion says, okay, well, what did it look like?
All I saw was a tail.
What kind of tail? And you barely saw a tail. You think at this distance it could have really been anything.
Yeah.
You assume it was the tail.
The taily kind of tail.
Odion kind of has this like sinister laugh, just like, all right, we're gonna die, and he keeps moving forward. And Alana, she's doing okay still. She's still hanging on, but you can tell she's very, very nervous. This is not anything she expected to do this week.
She's like, dang it.
Okay, you make it now to that statue by that
Okay.
pillar.
I want to observe him. Please, perception. Or would that be investigation?
Okay, with that, it's
15.
investigation. You're looking at it real quickly, kind of hiding next to the pillar by him. It's a half-orc male. He's really big. He's holding a great sword. Well, was a great sword. Everything that was on him is turned to stone as well. He looks terrified, and he's looking up. which means this thing is big,
Okay.
is what you can determine by it. You don't see any tracks or anything particularly in the sand, but you do see that something has moved the sand. You just can't. The sand moves as well when things move. So it's nothing clear with
Right.
that 15. All right. Out of the corner of whose side was it? Oh no! Well, we'll never know. Thank you.
Schwink.
Where'd it go?
It drops. Okay, so Odeon sees a brief glimpse of like a horn, or some kind of something like sticking up a little bit by the temple. He still sees it, and he points it out to you. He says, "It's behind that. It's behind there."
Okay.
How do you want to go about this? Should we go right, left? Should we stick together? Should we? What do you think?
Oh boy. Well, I'm definitely at the ready still.
What are the chances we can sneak up on this thing?
It knows we're here.
Right. Well, it'd have to, but...
It definitely knows. I'm trying to think of something that we could do.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're in its element right now.
We don't really know anything about it other than it turns people to
Yeah.
snow. Stone.
Snowman in the desert. That's the
Quite
worst.
the ability.
Be ready to
And they
drink
just
its
melt.
bile.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, Odin.
How do we make this thing vomit?
Yeah.
How do we do it?
There is a brief lull in the crowd. Everyone just suddenly goes quiet. It is like dead silent in the crowd.
I'm gonna get behind the pillar where the stone guy was.
I'm gonna kneel and ask for protection by.
Nothing.
Oh boy.
You felt this brief moment of like almost pain and then nothing, because you're kind of looking in that direction, and it just kind of brief second you kind of went behind the pillar, and just then you felt something, a presence, and then it was gone.
I kneel for a second and just ask Azrael for strength.
Gain inspiration.
Oh, cool.
Nice. So you call upon Azrael. He doesn't respond, but you feel his presence. Almost like a "I'm with you." Basically show what Azrael's might. It's kind of like that feeling. So he gives you both an actual inspiration on that. So basically what you got, he got. Like you feel him connecting, and you're just probably thinking the same thing at the same time. Not like you're completely connected, but with that you do. Okay. Okay, so you hear the first time you hear it, you just hear this, just like this sound, like an exhale, and you just see like, not steam, but just like the sand like push out from behind.
Wings or breath?
It knows you're there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's fought gladiators before.
Wings or breath? That's the question. I am going to swing at the stone guy in front of me. Hit it with my sword.
Okay. So make an attack roll on it. With advantage, it's not moving and it's petrified.
Okay. Let's see. I'm proficient in long swords, yeah?
Yeah.
That's 20 then.
Alright. You cut straight through it as it's porous. It's like a what is that called? It's called a
Pumice.
Pumice.
Yeah.
It's like a pumice stone in the sense that it's got those like slight pores and it's very light.
Mm-hmm.
You cut right through it and it is straight through and it just crumbles and falls. And you hear the car go boo, just like yell out. And just then you hear this just like this very like loud sound. You know where it's coming from, but it's not moving towards you.
So it's playing a game here.
Maybe the dangerous situation you guys have been in playing D&D.
Yeah, I think so.
You fought some pretty crazy. You fought some pretty crazy things.
Yeah, there's one particular one I'm thinking of.
So at this point, how far away are we from this temple thing in the middle?
Probably like 60 feet. So to the right of the temple, there's that electrum like pyramid thing, and then to the left, there's a couple more pillars leading around. Looks like that would be the front of it.
Okay. And how big is this electrum thing?
It's pretty big. It's probably like 10 feet tall.
Okay.
But it's only the pinpoint of it, right?
Right. It's kind of
Stick
like
out.
on its side a little bit, but it's kind of leaning towards the center a little bit.
Can I see my reflection in it now?
You can't see your reflection. Roll perception.
Oh. 12 plus 3, 15.
That's enough. You see it. And it sees you. It's looking right at you. Huge head. Very snake-like, but with some legs.
Oh, weird. Well, I say,
You see this,
see it.
and you all take a look.
oh man.
But it's longer and bigger than that. So I showed them a picture of a 5E. I'll tell you in a second what it's called, because they still don't know exactly what it's called. All right. You hear the crowd start to chant a name over and over. Cuauhtémoc, Cuauhtémoc, Cuauhtémoc. And briefly in the time you've spent here, people have gone to die against this thing. You know that that's the name of this beast.
Okay.
Which is actually the last Aztec emperor.
Oh!
Alright, anyway, so let's... Age of Empires, right?
Yep.
Okay. So anyway, you hear them chanting this, and you instantly remember so many people have died to this. No one's ever come out on top. So, this is a death sentence.
Have we ever heard any stories of anybody who stood a chance?
Nope.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe your world history.
History, I've got no bonuses there. It's 10.
You've heard mumblings and grumblings, but nothing
15?
history. So it's just 15. Alright, vaguely you remember them saying how someone got a couple hits on it, and that it wasn't... No, that's all you got. It bleeds for sure. Like, it can be killed. It just...
The big mother.
It's a hard thing to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So Alana's very nervous. She's not shaking, but she's just like, she's not sure. She just is very confused. And Odeon is kind of sitting there for a second. You can see him getting more and more anxious. Not anxious, but like anxious to fight. Like he hates this like sitting around situation. So he gets angry. He sees in the reflection where it's at, and he suddenly just crackling energy just launches this blast out, and it hits the top of like where its scale's at, and trying to hit something on it. He misses it, but it hits the stone and just crumbles, and you see through the reflection. It's not a great reflection. It's not like a very clear one. Even in the water you can kind of see a reflection, but it's nothing like conclusive. But he hits the side, and you see it like jump down a little bit, and then one of the claws just comes over the top of it, and then another claw, and then you see the head start to come up.
Well, this thing's massive. Like,
It's pretty big.
jeez.
And then you do what you want to do.
It's coming up over the top of.
It's starting to come over the top.
Are there any obstacles nearer to it than where we are?
Yeah, there's a few knocked over pillars. You could run and roll to one. You could run over to the side and get to another pillar to your left. Or there's that electrum thing you could run to.
Yeah. I'm considering that. Running over to that. I think that's
Work
what,
together.
That's what I'll do. Yeah. I'll run over to it. I'll tell him that's my plan.
Okay,
And I'm gonna run over to that electrum
let's do it.
thing.
Okay, so roll initiative. It begins. Good luck, fellas.
It's Dodongo! I got an 18 plus 3.
All right. Let me mark all this down so we
Oh,
can make sure we
21.
get a very fair fight.
Dude, all we gotta do is just wait till it opens its mouth, throw a bomb in there,
Right?
and it'll roll around in the lava.
Okay, Link.
Where did Don go fast? Alright, so tell me again.
21.
18.
Oof.
Alright. It rolled a 1.
How convenient.
Yeah, right? Alright, so we have
Ooh.
Cry, and then we have Weirin. Entered it. Fine. We're all good. I said it right. And then Alana. And then Odeon. Okay. And I'm going to need all your hit points.
I have 31 as of leveling up.
Yeah.
You need to level up.
I haven't leveled up, yeah.
Yeah, I would do that.
Do I add...
1d10 plus your
I add Constitution, right?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, really?
43.
Oh, I thought we rolled a 1d8.
Well, you
But
do,
it's
but you
your-
add your constitution.
You're a different class than me. And
Oh,
then,
that's
and then
right.
you add your Constitution modifier, which is
So
1.
plus 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so 32. Cool.
Sweet.
1 extra
It
point.
can help.
Yeah.
Alright, Alana is 40. Odeon is 38.
Oh, doy. I'm a dingus. I'm a dingus, I'm a dingus. I'm a dingus, I'm a dingus, I'm a dingus. Oh, I'm a dingus.
This is getting weird. Alright. Let's do this. Alright. Go. Cry, what do you do?
Okay. Oh, golly. That's something we've never done.
Yeah.
Trying to figure this thing. I don't want to use any key at all.
Key? Oh,
My energy.
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Right, monks.
You could
Dark
you could
Elf.
use it for your ranged attacks. Or do you
could.
use key for that?
No, my Radiant Sunbolt actually doesn't use key. Oh yeah, actually one key.
It does.
Okay, so I'm gonna hurl a Sunbolt at it. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do that. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's a plus what? 5 plus.
Proficiency maybe? I don't know.
But it's your, where's your thing back here?
He can do either dexterity or
Oh, yeah,
strength,
that's
right?
right.
He
That's
can
right.
choose which one he wants.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do dexterity.
Yeah.
let's just
So,
say that's it. I don't remember.
11.
Alright, so, it is not a hit.
Oh.
So you barely see its leg come over the top, and you just blast at it, and it just like nicks off. It doesn't hit it, but it flies by it. You hear a snarl, but that's about it. It is now your turn.
It's my turn. How close am I to it?
Same distance as everyone else, so it's about 60 feet currently.
Ooh. I don't really have any ranged stuff that I can do here. Is there anything I can pick up near me and throw at it?
Probably his spear, and that's about it.
Don't throw my spear.
Give me your weapon!
The more you feel its weight, it's less of a spear.
It's more of a staff.
No, but that's all I'm giving you. Okay,
Hmm.
so, alright, so you are moving where?
I wanted to move to the pyramid thing.
Okay, so you're running over there, and it's about 30 feet away from you.
Okay.
So you take off running towards it as it's starting to come over the top. He's launching it at it. You make it there. You can manage to get behind it, and then
That's
what are you doing there?
I'm gonna wait. at
You
this
feel the
point.
metal like hot to your touch as you're kind of nearby it.
Is it? It's hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can I see anything special about it? I mean, is there anything
You know that it was probably very expensive. to
carved
make.
into it, or I mean, that's it.
Carved into it. Do an investigation.
The beast?
I'm rolling way too many ones tonight.
You're too frantic,
Oh,
and the way the
Jesus
light's
Christ.
hitting it it's not conclusive. You can't see anything.
Alright.
Good idea though. All right, so Alana, she's kind of like, what the heck am I looking at? I've never seen anything like that before. She runs over towards you as well. She sees you moving, and she's a woman of action, and she's not ready to just sit there and wait for it to come to it. She's wanting to get some kind of advantage, like let's move apart, not just stand right next to each other. She doesn't know if it breathes fire. She doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But she gets right next to you, and you see her get into like a readied stance. So if it comes towards, she's gonna make an attack on it. Okay. It is now Odion's turn, and he does something that you've never quite seen before.
Oh, yes.
In that moment, it starts to come over the top. You see him muttering to himself, and he reaches down into like his like a pocket, and you see him look at like a book, like this small little book. He just opens it up, and he's like, he just really quick. You saw him doing this while you were running over there, and you were doing your thing. He gets it and goes, just like says something, and a deafening sound erupts right where he put whatever magic he just did. It's called Shatter, and it failed its saving throw.
Oh, sweet. I was like, he failed. Dang it.
Not another failure.
Oh, that would be terrible.
We're all failures.
Where is it? D8. Okay, so 11. 11, and he knocks it backwards. So it's called Shatter, and it's like a force, like explosion type thing. And it can shatter walls, elementals, things like that. He just basically sends it flying backward. The temple itself crumbles. Just like it was already pretty unsteady, but whatever was the structure just begin to shatter. 10 feet in a circle, just the whole thing just explodes. Bits of rock go flying past everybody. You didn't know he could do anything like this.
Whoa!
You kind of look over him like, what else you got?
Does it fall on its back?
Oh, it falls backwards, yeah, on its back. It rolled a 1 on its saving throw. It's prone, behind there, on its back.
Dang.
It takes its turn to get up. So that was its turn. It's now back to you.
Cool.
You can see dust and stuff flying. You can't see it.
I can't see it.
Oh, it's on the other side. I mean, it's crumbled, and you could probably maybe see through, but probably not. It was a little temple after all.
Okay, I'm going to. Whoa. Where did that move go? What the heck?
You don't have it anymore.
I'm thinking of the move where I just.
Step of the wind.
Oh, there it is. I was like, what the heck? Okay.
All right.
Woo. So I'm very curious about this spear, since I noticed it's different. So I want to
roll Arcana on it if you want to know about it.
Oh, I have 0 Arcana. What? Gosh, 5.
It's a shocky one. You can hear like the sound. It's pretty obvious what kind of sound it's making. Yeah, it's kind of like an electric type feel to it.
There's a lot of water here. Oh boy! And I can use sun bullets.
I say that through my mind link because I know that you discovered
Your
something.
mind link, which you don't have. You shout it.
Hi!
Hey, I noticed you're carrying an electric stick. You should put it in the water.
Because I had it before you did. Oh, that's right.
That's right. That's right. I did have it before you.
Ah.
There's a reason I said that.
You guys have fought a few battles together, so you're kind of, you hear him yell that, and you're just like, oh, right.
Duh. Okay. So, yeah. There's not really anything I can do.
You can move. You can.
I'm just gonna
do an
move.
action, you can
I'll move towards him. Just
towards it.
him.
Towards me. Okay.
So
We're gonna all get behind this pyramid thing.
Okay.
Oh. No. But I'll.
Because Elena already followed me there.
You see him start to like think about coming over, and you're like,
I'm just gonna stay put. I'm just gonna stay because there's nothing I can do.
Okay, so you're just readying yourself if it attacks.
I don't want to make any dumb moves.
Okay. So you're rating yourself for melee or ranged?
I'm just ready. Just
Okay, well, you have to pick one or the other. You
oh,
can't, like...
I'm ready for ranged then.
Okay, so if you can get a clear shot, you're going to take it. Gotcha. All right. We already...
Oh, I thought
It's
if
your
it
turn.
was doing something to me. Oh.
Well, yeah.
So I want to get another look at this pyramid thing.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you were briefly running over and blinded a little bit by it.
This is what, investigation, perception?
Yeah, this would be investigation.
That would be 14.
You brilliant son of a gun. So you go over and start looking at the base, and you see one word carved really quickly with like a sword or a dagger or something, and you see like a stone hand that's like next to it. That's why you were able to find it. Like, you see that there were like bite marks through the wrist, and it's just the stone. But you see on where it carved, and like the dagger still kind of right next to it, it says eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Avoid its eyes.
That's what I wanted to use this for. My symbol.
Blinded.
Be creative. All right, let's go.
Cool.
All right, we're in. You notice that, and you have that connection, and you're just like.
So
Crap.
I am just going to yell so everybody else knows what I've just discovered. There's something about its eyes.
Let's get him.
Maybe don't look at them.
Yeah. If it can turn us to stone.
Odeon, in that exact moment, just says, "Of course." He's like, "Do not, under any circumstances, look at its eyes. Avoid it.
Yeah.
It'd be better to blind yourselves."
So
You see him immediately cut his thing and then cover his eyes.
he's
and
willing to do that.
He's doing that. He's rolling disadvantage on everything.
Dang.
But that's what he's doing. It's not his turn, but that is what he's doing on his turn. I'm not saying you have to do that. That's what he's his
Oh,
choice.
man. I don't want to be blind. This thing can hit us
Mm-hmm.
and kill us like that. Then
And there's so much
I gotta be able
reflective
to
stuff.
see.
Like,
Yeah.
There's so much reflective stuff too. Okay.
Oh, just thought of something. I yell. All right, it's on my turn.
No,
It's
it's
not my
not. So you yell that, and then what are you doing?
Gosh, I don't know.
This is a hard beast.
Yeah, this is weird. It's like
They want you
man.
dead. This is something that wins. It always wins. Because how do you fight something you can't see?
Right. And I don't.
But how do you
wanna-
look at
I
something
don't want
you
to just
can't
run
see?
after it because it's huge. I mean, it's yeah.
I mean, it's not huge. It's large.
Oh.
Most of the time, it's medium, but in this case, it's large.
Okay.
So anyone that's trying to keep score and keep track, it's not the same thing. That's a good thing about homebrew. You can do whatever you want. Keep your players on your toes. On your toes?
Under
Yes.
your toe.
On specifically my toes. All right. Let's do this quick. It's a fight. You gotta do your action quick. I know it's hard to decide, but
Yeah.
could be death.
Right. I am going to wait.
Readied as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's you see it kind of flailing in the water and stone that just got launched on it, and it starts to get up,
It's
and then
getting
you're
up, yeah.
winning.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. So then it is Alana's turn, and you hear her yell, and you see her go. She starts running.
She's going.
She starts running through the water, and she does make it to it. Makes an attack on it, on its underbelly, and she misses. So she takes a swing at it, and it's just flailing, and just like water gets in her face as she's swinging at it, trying to hit it. But she did hear what you said, and she's covering her head like this with her shield. She's tanking this thing.
Yeah.
And
must
then,
be a barbarian or something.
then Odeon, not able to see, hears. You can see him just like have this like focus, and he starts running through the water. after Alana. He hears her going, and he's going after her, and he hears her go, yeah, just like
I
swinging.
am one with the force, and the force is one with
Right. He's doing a very, very dangerous thing, but he's figuring this is my only chance, maybe.
Yeah.
So he's listening to what she's doing, and you see him like talking to his sword almost as he's moving through the water and just kind of swaying it in the air. And he runs over to where he hears Alana and tries to swing towards away from her, but in the direction he knows that it's at.
I can't imagine it's being quiet.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
15 and 19. What's
Wow.
up?
Wow.
Plus his modifier, but he goes up and he casts Wrathful Smite on it, which is a 1d6 addition to what he's using. So. Woo! I'm keeping it. It's a 3, and then a 4. So. You see him just like trying to like figure out what's going on, and he just digs his sword into it and like slices it across a little bit, and you see it just like flail even harder and just like right itself as this like black like ichor just like comes out the side of it a little bit, and then the creature makes its move. Its first.
And I'm watching its head because when it's gonna look my direction, I'm not looking at it. Yeah.
It only has 2 eyes? Okay.
There you can see. Yes. I'm not saying there's more. I'm just saying that's what you can see.
Okay.
If you look really hard, you might see some more eyes.
Oh! Are those lost eyes up? Dang it.
Okay. All right. It slashes at Alana. Oh, shoot. Rolls a 19.
Oh.
And it bites down on her. Now for its damage. Okay. Not bad. Okay. But also... Okay, so you see the just go in on the leather, just dig in deep and just kind of like start ripping at her, and you hear her scream, but then you see her just like kind of like limp a little bit, but then she like fights it off and she like backs up again. She's been poisoned. All right, now it is your turn.
My turn. So are those 2 still in the water?
They are still in the water. Yeah. I mean, they're all in the water at the moment.
Okay. I'm just gonna tell them, like, run! Get out of the water! Get out of the water!
Okay. So you hear the crowd just like, yeah, just like getting even more like excited at the first draw of blood, really. I mean, no one has seen people really charge it too often.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is going to be a good fight. I'm glad I paid my tickets.
Yeah.
All right. You tell them to get out of the water. What else do you do?
I'm channeling. Can I?
So are you looking at them? What do you do?
I'm just looking at them.
Okay.
Not at the water, not at it, just directly at them.
So you're looking at Alana and Odeon. Okay.
I
want you to roll like a concentration type thing. So roll like a. I guess I'd say perception. You're specifically looking at something.
Okay. 13 plus 3, 16.
Okay, so you are keeping your... It's hard not to look at what's thrashing and attacking, but you are looking at them. Its eyes are looking. You can feel it staring at you, but you are staring at them. It's trying to like get your attention.
No.
All right, quick, go.
Okay,
go.
okay.
She's getting attacked right now. Keep going.
So what are they doing? It says they yelled at.
Well, they haven't got their turn, so they're still in the water.
Okay, dang it.
She's just got bit, and she's like moving backwards, covering her face. And
And
Odeon's over there blind monkeying everything.
And if I do anything to them, can I channel this spirit all or this thing?
Roll. Oh no, you already did your bonus action. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I just yelled.
Is that all you did? You rolled for something, didn't you?
Perception.
That's your bonus. Okay, so that's your bonus action. So what are you gonna do as an action? Like an attack or run or what are you doing?
Man, golly. I want to cover my eyes. Or no, I want to look at its. Freaking! I can't look at this thing. I can't look at it anywhere.
It's terrible.
So I want to just kind of look.
You remember
like,
you were looking at the reflection,
and it was fine.
and you were okay.
So I want to look at the reflection. I want to jump as high as I can. Look at the water, and reflect it, and just hurl a bolt at it,
Like a key blast, or what you have.
like a radiant sunbolt.
Okay. Okay, so go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna.
Man, I am sucking.
Three.
You have inspiration.
Oh my gosh, I do.
Yes, you do.
Because I could accidentally kill one of those guys, and that would be terrible. 13 plus.
Oh, dexterity.
Yeah, so 13 plus
That
6,
is a
19.
That's a hit.
Oh, my glob. So no more inspiration. Awesome. Okay, so that's a 1d4. So. Plus my dex, so 2 plus 6, 8.
Nice. All right, so you see it clamp down on her, and it's as she's raising her shield, trying to knock it off of her shoulder. It's like hard because it's biting on the thing
go
she's
like,
using to lift the muscles. And as it's doing that, it just suddenly gets hit in like square in the forehead, and it just knocks its head back for a second. All right, nice. Now it is your turn.
It's
You're
my
right.
turn. All right. I'm gonna go in, keeping my eyes down, and I'm thinking about the whole bile thing. I'm gonna see if I can open up its stomach.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going with my long sword, and oh yeah, that would be a 22.
Oh,
Dang.
nice.
Dude,
And
that die is
where are you?
awesome, man.
What are you
It's
looking
just-
at?
What's that?
What are you doing? So you're running forward.
Yeah, I'm running forward, and I'm wanting to attack its stomach. Like I want to open up its stomach, because I'm remembering the bile thing that the dude said, that the faceless.
Oh, and I just kind of knocked it back, too.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I want to open up its guts. That's what I'm trying to do.
Man, that's where my
I need
wall
you to make a dexterity saving throw. Oh, not a dexterity, a constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw. 17. Oh, let's see, saving throw?
Yeah.
It's higher than that. Well, no, yeah, it's 17.
Okay, you look at it, and it looks at you as you're looking at it. And you feel,
Even though I'm looking down?
well, it's drawing your attention.
Oh, okay.
It's trying to.
Okay.
But because you saved there, you're okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go and make your attack. You got it. Go and.
I rolled a 22 on the
You roll a
attack.
22 on attack, that's a
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
Alright, do your damage.
What's my damage?
That's a good question.
You tell me.
I have that right here. Hold on. It'll be nice when you have your own weapons.
Yeah. Won't have to ask you every time we try to fight something.
What is happening? Okay.
So it can draw my gaze. Knowing that after I attack it, I'm going to want to blind myself.
Blind yourself?
Blindfold.
I mean, you wouldn't turn to stone, I guess.
You push your eyes in.
Better than dying.
I suppose. Alright.
I will not look.
You are rolling. So you gain a +3 to attack and damage rolls. Need with this magic weapon. Alright.
Oh, so that's +3 to attack too. So it's 25
Oh, yeah.
on that attack.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
You messed this thing up.
Oh, is this a crit?
No, I rolled a 16, but I had added my proficiency.
Right.
So, and then you add, yeah. Actually, no, I rolled a 19.
Or
I rolled
you
a
feel
19,
at that moment when you're about to swing, you feel like you could transfer some of that to your AC. Basically, you're like it's called the defender. So he's got something, you've got something.
Okay.
So when you are about to swing it, you feel this almost this sentient, not quite, but just like a feeling when you're about to swing it, like that was a tremendous swing, but I could use some of this for defense. You don't have to. That was a really
Okay.
good swing. I'm just saying, you kind of feel that.
So I could either add 3 to the damage or to my AC.
Let me just read it.
That's cool.
It says the first time you attack with the sword on each of your turns, you can transfer some or all of the sword's bonus to your armor class. So instead of using the bonus on your attack that turn, for example, you could reduce the bonus to your attack and damage roll to +1 and gain +2 instead.
I see.
So you could like split it.
So it could be. I get it. Okay.
But you have to decide that when you're making your attack. I'm just letting you know from now on. Is it you used it? It's
Okay.
letting you know what.
Okay.
The adjusted bonuses remain in effect until the start of your next turn. So it's a D8.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you could keep these things.
Yeah, if you transfer
Right.
8 to your armor, oh my gosh.
Oh no, that's the damage. He's...
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
die. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
so
like, I am a god.
Jeez, dude, nothing can hurt you.
5 damage.
Okay, so you run up right next to Odeon, who is currently just like swinging, trying to figure it out. He had just made purchase, and he's like, yes. So, and he's like backing up because he's not sure. And he's like getting ready. You run up right next to him as he smacked it with that bolt, and you just cut towards the stomach. You said.
Yeah, I want.
Okay, so you kind of have to cut through a leg a little bit, but you know you're gonna hit something on the underbelly. Like you're not hitting the scales on top. You're like
Right.
trying to hit on the side.
Right.
All right, so you do manage to make a incision. So let me get this so I can make sure. All right, 7 minus. You said it. How much was that?
5. It was 5.
Okay. How much did you do to it?
Oh crap.
4 plus.
You
Oh, you
did,
did 8.
8.
You did 8.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Just making sure because I didn't mark that one.
I'm level 4.
Okay, good, guys. All right. Okay, so you did manage to cut the side open. You're not sure if that's the stomach, but some blood and stuff came out. It was gross.
Stuff other than blood came out.
I mean, you can't tell. It's all mixed. If there is anything. You're trying to find a stomach, but you've never seen this before.
Right. Yeah. It's...
All right, so it is now Alana's turn. She's making a blind.
I bonus action. I want to blindfold myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just like as soon as you make a slash, you you like cut part of your thing. Just immediately do follow Odeon.
Right.
All right. I mean, you just shut your eyes, but if it's gonna try to compel you,
I mean,
you can't.
once
Right.
you're stoned, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
I can't swing at disadvantage. I'm done. Yeah, I guess so.
I'm a piece of rock now.
Dang it!
So Alana sees what everyone's doing. She doesn't have any cloth to cut, but she keeps her shield up, hoping that that's going to work. But she makes an attack. It's right in front of her, but even so, it is going to be at a disadvantage. 18 and then 13 with +3. She hits. Sweet. Good job. Disadvantage rolls. Good job, natural 1 crew.
Yeah.
All right, so she goes in for just a blind kind of just like attack going in like this, and she manages to catch it in the chest. Oh wait, no. I might have described her hit before as a sword. It is not a sword. It is a hammer.
That's right.
I get confused with the thousands of things I'm
Right.
trying to remember. But anyway, let me D10 this, not a D8, because it's a hammer. Oh wait, no, sorry. It's versatile. She's using it with a shield. It's D8. That was right. Oh, sweet.
Oh!
Fancy Moses. Alright, so she brings that hammer down right on the chest, and you just hear cracking. Like, you guys are hitting it in good spots. And 8 plus 2. 10 damage. Alright, that's a good hit. Odeon's turn. He's a little nervous being where he's at. He has no idea what's going on. He just hears hacking and slashing and screeching and loud noises.
Hope these are good things.
Yeah, he's assuming, but he tries to cast something on it, and it makes a saving throw. And it fails. It's not doing great. You don't know what it's doing, but you see like him point his finger with his free hand where he thinks it is. And I'm going to have him roll, even though this isn't technically a ranged attack. Okay, with his +5, that's definitely a hit. 13 plus 5. And so he points at it, and you see this like black energy come out at it, and you just see the thing just kind of like writhe a little bit. You don't know what it's doing to it, but it may become apparent on its next attack, which is right now. It tries to draw the attention of you. I need you to make a saving throw.
Oh man,
Constitution.
I'm going to be a stone. 9 plus 1? 10?
Your eyes are drawn to the basilisk, and as it looks at you, you feel your body begin to stone, and you have no thoughts. You see your brother harden in front of you, and just filled with a rage, you get a reaction. You don't see it. You like feel your brother suddenly, like his presence just go
instantaneously.
Gone. That connection is just dropped.
I would pull on my necrotic shroud instantaneously,
Just
which
this,
it has to throw a saving throw for, so not be afraid.
Yeah.
And it's
Who rolled a 6?
oh.
What's the saving throw?
Charisma.
-2.
Yeah.
It is not charismatic.
So it's afraid. I don't know if that does anything there, but I'm also going.
It sees you just suddenly,
Right.
just like in fury,
Right.
just this rage that is unknown to it.
And I am going.
It's already damaged.
I'm
pretty
going
bad.
on like full on planar energy sword attack, like with everything I've got.
Okay. I'm gonna allow
Plus
you
necrotic.
for like a heroic moment. I'm gonna allow you to use 2 attacks on this.
Okay. And
Since your brother just
and
got
I'm also gonna
literally
roll
petrified in front of you.
inspiration also. So that
What are your
would be a 15 and a what would that be? 12.
I'm legitimately afraid. First one hits, the second one doesn't.
Okay.
Alright, so as you strike, where are you aiming? You're full on not caring right now.
Same. I'm going
Okay,
for
you're going for the
because I know that was successful the first time. So 4.
It's gonna get close.
Oh man.
It's not going for kill, it's going for petrification.
Right. So the planar damage plus the sword damage, it's 15 necrotic.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 necrotic.
Let me just add this up and make sure.
Save me!
Oh no. Oh. No.
You know what all that adds up to?
No.
How do you want to do this?
Oh boy!
Exactly, and I'm not making this up. This isn't
To the
just
point.
This is exactly 2-0. That dropped it exactly to 0.
Oh my gosh.
I guess I want to. So I get my sword up into its guts and I want to just.
So you just kind of
Okay.
okay.
Gut it all.
So here's what happens. So it's rearing up because of the strike. It gets hit in the chest. It rears up even further and raises its claws to try to like slice. You see your point, and you see your brother get turned at that exact moment where it looks down at him, and he, in a pose, he's going like this and just gets petrified immediately. And you just, with this rage, you're just the skeletal, like, ethereal wings appear behind you, and this scream deafens the entire arena as everyone just goes quiet as they see this like, insane amount of energy go into the sword.
Awesome.
You jump up, stabbing, raising all the way up to the jaw, and it just rips open, and it just dies. And the arena is quiet. Your brother is dead. However,
undead.
the moment you hear that Azrael speak to you, the bile of the beast, Alana like covered, and so is Odeon, because it just happened, and they immediately throw themselves into the water, and they don't know what's going on, and they just start cleaning themselves off as they're kind of getting burned a little bit from like everything that just fell on them. Holy crap, guys! Seriously, luck was on your side. Not so much you.
I am dead.
So you feel this like intense sadness, but that moment you feel, can I do something?
Right.
So what do you do?
So I'm trying to think what I could use to put stuff in. I'm gonna go pick him up and put him.
Okay, so you go over there. I want you to roll in athletics.
Okay.
And Odeon sees you doing that as well, and he moves over.
16.
Okay. Between you and Odeon, which, you know, he's a pretty strong guy, and Alana comes over as well, and, you know, she doesn't know him, but she just feels so sad that he just got killed by this thing.
Yeah.
And so you all kind of just, like, reach under arms and kind of, like, carefully, because you know they're kind of porous. And it's so, like, you're so desperate. That feeling of just, like, I just lost the most important person in my life. I lost a twin, not just a twin, but, like, someone who's helped you through so much, who's been through 30 years, 31, a year and a half of slavery, just absolute terrible, like, situations you've been through in your past to get to where you are now, only to see him die to this thing that you just slaughtered in, like, an epic moment.
Yeah.
And you feel this anger, but you draw all this anger into your strength and just almost manage to pick him up yourself as you're dragging him over. And you just kind of toss him into the bile. Like, there's not much you can do,
right.
you know, in a frantic hope.
Right.
I want you to roll a d20.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh come on, man. Oh please. 15.
I want you to roll another d20.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Oh crap.
Roll another d20. Roll another d20.
Uh-oh.
Roll another d20.
Dude. Oh, no.
I am, like, legitimately terrified. Roll another d20.
Jeez.
Okay. At that moment, you feel his life force fading. I want you to go over there with advantage, try to do a healing. Like, bring him back. Like, strike him in the chest with your energy.
Okay. Try it with healing hands too.
Mm-hmm.
17.
How many times do you want me to roll?
That was it.
Okay.
With everything you got, you just pound on the statue, just like, don't you die, and you just keep pounding it, and you just feel him gone. And the crowd is still quiet. Everyone's just like, Alana starts to cry. Everyone's just like, this is it. He's gone. And sitting in the acid, you just see him kind of like the stomach acid, you see him just kind of sink a little bit. And you hear the trumpet sound, and you hear swearing, like intense cursing in Primordial as Ammonius just comes on the thing and just, they won, you know, just like furious as he's coming on, and he's just livid, and he says, "This is not the end, slaves," and the guards start to come down. As you start to walk away, they're dragging you pretty much away as you're like looking at your brother just statue. But they start leading you up the hill. When you feel that energy that you used did go somewhere. And then you come back.
Oh!
That 17 was just enough. You lost your saving throws, barely. Your death throws, just barely. He rolled just barely.
You saved me, dude!
I got a 3 on the first one, so...
I was doing averages, and that was barely enough. So that was the closest anyone's ever been to death in any of our games. So congratulations. So you think he's dead.
Right.
Like legitimately toast.
Right.
You wake up and just like in bile and blood. You think you're in some kind of hell.
I want to use that.
What is that?
My radiant soul.
Oh, you want to like come out with?
Yes, I want to come out and just.
All right,
I want to
cool.
come out and just be like, yeah.
And
yell as loud as I can.
You
possibly
suddenly just
yell.
hear, but like it's almost like a fear.
I want to
because
yell.
you think you're in hell. Like you just like you were in blood and bile. Like it's not pretty. You are covered in
Emerging out of
with wings. It's terrifying.
I want to have the wings come out and launch up
30
as high as I
feet?
can get, yeah, 30 feet, and just yell, brother! Like as loud as I possibly can.
Inspiration for later, for sure. Both of you, that was epic.
Yes!
All right, so you hear your brother, and you're just like, what? And you look down there, he's not there. But you look 30 feet up, and there he is, just covered in just disgusting. It's like, it's terrifying. And the crowd doesn't know what to do. They just saw that.
quit his antics.
These bastards.
It's fine every time.
These guys.
No lying his way out of this one.
That was my last key point, too.
All right, you just used your last bit.
You have to use key for that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's something you can do once a day.
I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's a once a day thing for both of you.
Oh.
Wow, guys, seriously. As they, gosh, that was so freaking close. And I'm not
man.
fudging numbers. I was literally putting them together.
I
and
almost died for the first time.
Right.
you were dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I died?
You were
Yeah.
dead. You were gone.
Yeah.
The only reason you survived is because he used some health to bring you and stabilize you. And the only reason Odeon wanted to do something, but you have to be in some kind of physical form. What he can do can't bring you back from death. He can bring you back from death. And he tells you this as you're walking back. He's just like, he runs to you and just said, I tried. I would have done anything. I couldn't. You know, you were a statue. I can work with flesh. I can't work with statue. You know, what you have is like a brother bond, like healing natural just for your like 3 hit points or 4 or whatever.
Right.
It's like, it's nothing, but it was just enough to heal him. The first, if you hadn't had that advantage, which I added because of like a brother bond situation, it could have gone either way.
2 brothers.
Yeah, and when
Save each other.
the crowd sees you alive somehow, they start a low chant, but it's kind of like a solemn, almost worshiping chant. You came back from the dead and flew in front of them. Like,
oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna say that they're simple-minded, but a lot of them are. So the lower class is like, they've never seen this, first of all. They are totally blown away. You see people like vaguely in the crowd. You can't really see them very well. But the heat dissipates as they turn off basically the spell that keeps it like immersed, like you're in that world. But the basilisk is slain before you and behind you now as you're being led up the hill with these guards who are congratulating you, but quietly. They're not sure what's going to happen to you. They've never seen this before. No one has seen this. It's Cuauhtemoc the Ancient. It's the basilisk that has petrified hundreds and hundreds of different heroes that have gone up against it. And you managed to slit it from stomach to neck.
They shouldn't have given me such a good sword.
Alright? I mean, it actually wasn't that great. It just was decent enough for you to get that final 1 hit point. If it hadn't have been that sword, you wouldn't have done it.
Right.
And it may have petrified you.
Right.
You know,
Oh, man.
that would have been it.
Yeah.
If it petrified 1 more or 2 more of you, that's what it does. It whittles you down. It doesn't care to bite. It was trying to bite to cause you to look at it. Anyway, so and all these moments are all completed. You are taken very roughly to your cages, awaiting what tomorrow will bring. And that ends tonight. And if you have any comments or anything you'd like to say to congratulate these lucky guys,
gosh.
like seriously, I was like, I have to make you another character.
I
was like, that's it.
Really
I was
liked
like,
my character.
I was like,
2 games, you're done.
dang it. I know, yeah.
welcome to this
I was
campaign,
thinking,
guys.
man, no blindfold. Why didn't you do it?
I was going to on my next turn.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And then you got me.
Well, I kept the hit points the same. I increased the damage and the ability to petrify, but that's it. I mean, I wasn't going to increase it too much. You guys are only level 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like a high hit point thing, but it is it takes you out of the game
Kills, yeah.
fast. So I've never used a basilisk, and I've never seen a basilisk used before. So I mean, everyone's so afraid of these things for very obvious reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh
my
there are
gosh.
ways to bring you back as a statue, and I had plans for maybe someone getting a hold of something that could help you, but it would have been years
Right.
before someone tried to get you out. Which would have been an interesting story arc. You could have been like
Yeah.
someone else resurrecting yourselves. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and sticking with us. I hope we're still alive.
Yeah,
we
we
are. Alright. Thank you for watching Natural One. May your rules always be natural ones, just not natural ones. You have a fantastic week, and we hope to see you next week, perhaps. We're not sure. We'll shoot for Thursday or Friday, if we can. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
Bye.